Pack Rat right now for your free quote. See y'all later, Pack Rats.
Call 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. That's 800-965-1298.
Are you looking for a treat that will knock it out of the park at the next watch party? Just like your favorite baseball team, Crumble brings the best lineup week to week with an expanded roster that includes key lime pie, strawberry cake, or my personal favorite, Monster featuring M&M candies. Let Crumble treat you to the best cookies in the game. Download the Crumble app and start earning rewards. You can even vote monthly on what flavors you would like to see at any store of your choice. Warmer weather is here, so get to the ballpark, but don't miss the cookies.
When it's past high noon, it's time for a vodka soda made with a vodka you've actually heard of. I'm talking White Claw vodka soda made with White Claw premium vodka. JB Smooth only drinks vodka soda made with the world's smoothest vodka.
And you can too. Pick you up a bottle of the triple wave filtered vodka that's been distilled 5 times. White Claw premium vodka comes in 4 flavors: black cherry, mango, pineapple, and just vodka. You haven't had vodka like this. No one has. White Claw premium vodka. Please drink responsibly.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Knoxville 40 east and westbound. Here at 275 Western Avenue, Alcoa Highway's got a little bit heavier southbound. Across the Buckhorns Bridge here at UT Medical Center, all that traffic headed back towards the Blount County area. AMCO Transmission, serving East Tennessee since 1962. Call AMCO Transmissions in Knoxville, 832-8686. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
WKGN 1340. Go Vols!
You're tuned in to East Tennessee's premier sports radio call-in show. This is The Drive.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another stellar edition of The Drive. I am not Russell Smith. I am Sam Beard, pinch hitting for the great Russell Smith on vacation this week. Picked a nice week in East Tennessee to go out on vacation with all this rain coming in here. I'm Sam Beard, Walker Smith behind the board helping me out. Brett Hollander, a familiar face with me on Under Review from 10 to 1 here on Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio, 865-966-3435, your number to call if you want to chime in, talk about what happened last night as we had an unbelievable finish in the College World Series last night as Arkansas has found another way to choke away a postseason. It's almost, it's death taxes and Arkansas choking in Omaha, it seems like, boys.
And it felt like no team wanted to win that game.
No.
Like, they were both just making dumb errors. LSU makes the bad throw and the botch at first base at the top of the ninth, and then Arkansas with a comedy of errors in the bottom of the ninth to send LSU to their second College World Series final in 3 years.
How bad did you really feel for Arkansas, Walker? Because Brett and I have hashed this out a little bit already today on Under Review. My mom texted me. My grandfather was a huge Arkansas fan, and she was like, your grandpa's rolling over in his grave right now hearing you just talk trash about this Arkansas group right now. But I can't say that I'm pretty happy today. I mean, I feel like this was the only scenario that I wanted not to happen. I just did not want Arkansas to be able to go play for that national title. I feel like being able to kind of shove them in a locker, say, hey, go kiss the rings, buddy. It's still just, you don't have enough just yet. You're a great regular season program, but got to put it together in the postseason when it really matters. Were you smiling like a little schoolboy watching that game at the end last night, Walker?
I don't know if I was smiling. I was just shocked. I was in shock about what I was watching. Like, I couldn't believe, I could not believe that left fielder dropped that ball. Like, that's one of the worst botched plays I've seen in college. And in college, like, you're used to seeing those types of errors. Like, these guys aren't pros. Like, errors happen almost every game in college. But that was one of the worst drops I've ever seen. And then, yeah, there's a small part of me, you feel for them. Like, that sucks. You see them crying coming out of the dugout. It sucks. But on the other hand, can't say I felt bad. I wasn't smiling ear to ear, but I was thinking in the back of my head, like, yeah, this feels a little right.
Another year down, right. You got to go get it again. You got to go get it again.
Another year down.
Yeah, that was kind of my thinking as well, and we'll get into it a little bit later in the show because I do want to kind of get y'all's takes on maybe the hierarchy of SEC baseball now. Is you got Arkansas out of it, but now LSU's going to play for a national title, looking to get their second national title of the 2020s. I feel like Tennessee has really kind of been dominating this so far throughout this, these last 5 years or so, and I think it's going to be interesting to kind of see whether or not Tennessee and LSU, how far they kind of go just neck and neck with each other if one of them kind of takes the bigger step up. But other than that, guys, I got a bone to pick with AI.
Okay.
Finished the show at 1. Said, hey, I'm going to go get me some lunch before I got to go fill in for Russ on the drive. So I don't want to give these guys too much free milk, but I'm going to just bash on them, so it's not necessarily free milk. Went down the road to a local establishment, old Bojangles.
Great spot.
We got to get rid of AI drive-thrus. It's killing me.
I haven't been through an AI drive-thru yet.
You're lucky because I get up there and I'm looking at the menu and they've got this new little combo. It was called like the bird dogs or something like that, and it was basically just a chicken sandwich hot dog. Imagine just a hot dog bun. You throw a piece of fried chicken sandwich or fried chicken in there, a little pickle, some Carolina Gold sauce on top. Looked great on paper. I was like, give me a second. Because I wanted to make sure if I wanted to go after the bird dogs. And then it was like, okay, one moment. Please let me know when you're ready. And I know there's people back there. We got people behind the counters there. And for some reason, we got AI taking over the drive-thrus, Brett. I can't stand it. I need human interaction at some point. I know that we're getting all into the chat GPTs and the AI of the world. You can't take fast food from me.
Yeah, I haven't. So the whole order is through AI?
The whole order. As soon as I went and gave him my card, it's a girl in there, and she's like, hey, what did you want for your side and your drink? And I was like, well, I thought I told Mr. Robot I wanted French fries and a Dr. Pepper, but I guess that one it got lost in translation somewhere. So every part of that restaurant is human operated besides the people just taking orders. That seems like the easiest part.
I mean, like I said, I haven't experienced one yet, but it just seems like feels like an unnecessary thing to make AI is a drive-through. Like, you should just be able to talk to a person.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a simple thing that you want in life is to be able to just head into a drive-through, spend a minimal amount of money on your not so good for you lunch, and just talk to another person. But on the other end, they're like, would you like to add peach cobbler for another $3.99 on the side of that? If it was a human, maybe I would, but there's no part of me that wants to go give the AI robot the satisfaction of me saying, you know what, I'll take that extra slice of peach cobbler on the side. No, I don't want it. I'm fed up with AI. I just had to get that off my chest before we got in here. But how are y'all doing? Walker, you took yesterday off of the show, right?
Yeah, I was supposed to have a soccer game to work yesterday, which ended up getting moved, and the show was already filled, so I just ended up taking the afternoon off.
Had a nice day off.
It was ended up going and playing basketball with my guys, a little pickup.
Nice.
Got a huge scratch on my arm. Not great.
I was not playing for those who have
no,
watched
you
the
weren't.
Fan Run
It was
Final
not.
Four.
It was not Sam.
Jace was not in attendance.
No, Jace was not in attendance. Shout out my guy Jonah for scratching up almost like a foot long scratch
Battle
on my
scars.
arm.
Did you come out with the win?
We did. We won that game. We smoked them. It was tough. But no, we're getting in next Fan Run Final Four shape already. I'm already waiting for it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't even thought about playing basketball. Picked up a basketball since then. I got into a good habit back in college with my boys playing pickup around here, but I need to kind of get back into it. Maybe I'll hit you up, Walker, for the next run that y'all do.
Man. We have a good time.
Did you see Iowa's coach, Ben McCollum, playing pickup against Cooper DeJean today?
No.
I would highly recommend to go watch it. I tweeted the video out myself. I didn't like to give other schools that many flowers, especially with it being Iowa, but Ben McCollum was out there, and Cooper DeJean, I guess, was back in town kind of working out. And, we saw all those highlights of him around Super Bowl time of what he was like as a high school basketball player, and he's doing windmill dunks and all this stuff. And then it cuts to a clip of Ben McCollum, like, taking him off the dribble, little crossover behind the back move. Like, for 44 years old, this guy's moving better than 20-year-olds. Are you seeing this now?
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. The guy's guarding Cooper DeJean, getting up in his grill, picks his pocket.
Got a steal off of him.
Oh, my God. Oh, this guy's got a tight handle. Yeah, this guy can coach. If he can play he gets blocked by Cooper, but that's tough. But, I mean, he's an NFL DB. What are you going to do? But he can move.
He can move.
He can move.
Like, if I'm a recruit and I'm seeing that, I'm like, hell yeah, I want to go out there and play for this guy.
Tell me it's not boring Iowa.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting brand of basketball.
Yeah. No, I feel
he
like
plays faster than his Drake teams, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's I'm excited to kind of see what they do over there. You think Rick Barnes is getting in any action with us?
No.
Setting a screen, maybe tossing the rock a little bit, playing the Zakai Ziegler role? I don't know.
No, his thing, he doesn't get out there and he'll try and physically dominate a guy. He'll sit there and he'll mentally dominate his guys.
Yeah.
He'll sit there, he'll scold them during practice. He won't get on the court, but I bet he's out there. He's got some tricks that just mentally breaks down his guys sometimes.
I've already got one. Shout out Moose tweeting in, no AI drive-thrus. I got support here.
That's what we like to hear.
I think there's a lot of discourse in the country right now, a lot of things people disagree on. I think we can all have common ground here in saying that I'd like to speak to a human whenever I'm going to a drive-thru.
Like McDonald's, I think, does something like you pull up, did you order on your app today?
Yeah. I'm good with that.
That's fine.
Because
all you tell them no, and then the person comes on and
right,
that sort of thing.
And if you are ordering with the app, it's like, yeah, here's my code. You don't, to your point, Brett, you don't got to get the human involved when it's just like, hey, I'm TW54 or something like that. You don't have to worry about that part. But yeah, I mean, when it's the whole order, I'm out. Let's just take a little more money out of the pocket from the Bojangles CEO, and let's get like one more person in at the drive-thru every single time.
Yeah, I'm trying to look through. Like, I haven't used it yet. I've only done the McDonald's thing where it starts it and then it goes to another guy. I'm trying to figure out what places actually use it right now. I know Bojangles does. Apparently, Wendy's has been testing it. Like Taco Bell and Pizza Hut and KFC are big ones that are going to implement it in a lot of their spots, all of which I don't really frequent that much.
Yeah.
So I haven't really had the chance to fully experience how bad it is.
I'm not going to lie. This might have been my first AI drive-thru experience, and I can confidently say it might be my last. I might just not give Bojangles the satisfaction of getting my, $7.99 or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say, hey, I'm gonna go to a human next time.
Well, you know who's doing it the correct way with the drive-through changes? That's Chick-fil-A with the mobile,
with that
mobile order drive-through line. That stuff's good. Like, you do your mobile order and you go through the drive-through and you pick it up by scanning a QR code. That's the way to do it. You don't got to speak to an AI. Just use the app.
And I'm honestly fine with that, because it's like you're taking the legwork out yourself to go do your mobile order. All you got to do is go to the next line, scan that little QR code. I'm with you on that, Walker. I mean, no surprise that they're a little ahead of the AI game, and
normally are ahead of most things. It's Chick-fil-A. What are you gonna do?
Even like the kiosk that McDonald's does, where it's like, hey, you got to order yourself. I'd rather do that. Hell, I'd rather drive up to a fast food and punch something on the screen myself than talk to some AI.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough AI talk for the day, though. On the other side, we will get right into it. I want to talk what went down in Omaha last night. Arkansas, another colossal choke job against LSU. We'll talk about all that and how Tennessee is kind of tied into that whole conversation. You're listening to The Drive right here on Fan Run Radio. Coming up next after this.
The Drive.
Congratulations. You found sports radio that doesn't suck. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Hey Knoxville, Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Hi, I'm Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel. Financial advisors, let's face it, if you're not growing your practice, you're losing market share. Stifel is a growing, entrepreneurial, advisor-centric firm built for successful advisors like you. There's a reason why 148 financial advisors joined Stifel last year. Come join us and find out why Stifel is the firm where success meets success. Visit www.choosestifel.com.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Costa at Knoxville Smiles. Here at Knoxville Smiles, we're all about making it easier for you to see the dentist. That's why we're now open until 7 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If going to the dentist in the morning or during normal business hours doesn't fit your busy schedule, come see us a little later. Call 865-539-1776 to schedule your appointment, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Ready to launch your career? Axel Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axel proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axel, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axel Logistics is the place to start your career.
Attention local businesses. Are you looking for a powerful way to reach your customers? Want to get your message heard by thousands right here in our community? Then it's time to advertise on Fan Run Radio. Radio advertising works. It's affordable, effective, and gets results fast. Whether you run a restaurant, a retail shop, or a service-based business, we'll help you craft the perfect message to bring in more customers. With listeners tuning in every day, your business will stay top of mind. And the best part is, it's easier than ever to get started right now. Don't wait. Boost your brand and grow your business today. Email me at russell@fanrunsportsgroup.com or just DM me on Facebook or Twitter to learn more.
Good afternoon. More traffic volume in the last few minutes, 40 east and west here at Paper Mill, as traffic volume increases on all the major outbound routes, especially I-40 east at the Holston River Bridge. Watch for radar on I-40 out through Sevier up into Jefferson County this afternoon. Fostering Hope TN, helping thousands of East Tennessee kids in the foster system. If you'd like to help out, log on to fosteringHopeTN.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Just Blaze. Oh, baby. Killer. All the girls see them. Look at his kicks. Look
The
at his
Fan
car.
Run Radio,
Say it.
The Drive, rolling right along here on a Thursday afternoon. Appreciate y'all tuning in, however you may choose to do it. Live on the radio, on podcast with us. Always appreciate you guys tuning in with us. Boy, oh boy, did we see it last night. Arkansas Razorbacks, another postseason collapse, another year down, another year of Arkansas message boards and Twitter accounts saying, I'm done with Dave Van Horn. Give me Tony Vitello. Well, I don't know if that's going to be happening, but they'll have another offseason to think about it as LSU takes down Arkansas 6-5 to move on to the Men's College World Series Finals, where they await Coastal Carolina. As we were kind of talking about in that opening segment, it was a great baseball game through the first 5 innings or so. You know, I mean, it was just classic pitchers duels. Who's going to kind of break first? Arkansas gets on the board with that solo shot in the 4th inning. You're thinking, uh-oh, is Arkansas going to be able to kind of continue this magic, force another game, a do or die chance to go and play for that championship series. And then, boy, we get into the last couple innings of this game, and Arkansas seemingly trying to do everything they can to do to lose, as Walker says. Vahiva Aloy just throwing it to third on a ball where he had a very easy double play, I thought.
Double him off and in the game.
And then Charles Davilan ends it with a catch in which he's trying to make a diving play. Seems like he slipped a little bit. Ball hits off his shoulder or something like that, bounces into the corner. LSU scores 2. Then you get Jared Jones up, the guy who's come up clutch for LSU in every moment in the postseason.
Came up clutch earlier in the game in the bottom of the 8th when he tied it on a solo shot.
But let's pitch to him with an open base, Walker.
Yeah, let's do that.
I don't know how you're feeling this morning if you're an Arkansas fan. I feel like you're just numb to the pain at this point. But, God, that's a back-breaking loss, man, and that's an Arkansas team that had all the pieces to go out there and kind of get that monkey off their back, get that first national title under their belt, try and kind of even things up with other SEC programs. As the 2020s have been dominated by SEC schools. That 2021 obviously canceled to COVID, but you got Mississippi State, you got Ole Miss, you got LSU, you got Tennessee winning it last year. It was kind of an opportunity for LSU or for Arkansas to try to get even on that playing field, try and get closer to the top where Tennessee feels like they're that top program in the 2020s now. You got rid of Arkansas, guys, but are we worried about LSU kind of coming over and maybe taking that crown over from Tennessee as the top college baseball program in the 2020s?
I definitely feel like a second national championship in 3 years, definitely there's an argument there. I don't know about the argument between the coaches, but the argument between the programs, especially given that LSU has been doing good baseball for a little longer than Tennessee has, feels like there's a definite argument there between Tennessee and LSU if they get that natty. And even if they don't, like, you look at the resume, the only blemish on LSU's resume the past 5 years is the missed postseason or the missed College World Series last year after they won it.
Do you have is there any part of you that thinks it's a little bit of maybe some Ryan Day to Jay Johnson over there at LSU?
Oh, yeah.
Great coach, can definitely go out there and coach and recruit with the best of them, but was kind of handed a program that was in a very healthy spot with Paul Mainieri before he got there. Where is there, do you feel like Tony Vitello still kind of has that upper hand on Jay Johnson just due to the fact that he's built this thing from the ground up? He's laid that foundation from day one, and he's built this thing all the way up from nobody caring about Tennessee baseball, having to go out and get in the lemonade stand to get people in seats, and now he's built himself a national championship program. How much weight do you think that has in terms of the top dog kind of conversation in the SEC now?
I definitely feel like it favors Tony. I mean, you said it. Tony Vitello took a program that really had done nothing in its history, a couple of College World Series appearances, never really sniffed a national championship in its history, and turned it into one of, if not the best program in the country. Whereas Jay Johnson, like, you got to credit him. Like, this isn't 10 years ago without a transfer portal NIL where he got there and he inherited a roster that stayed there. He had to move guys around. He had to bring guys in. He had a good program with him to help bring guys in, but he was the one with doing the sales pitch, and he's, kept the ship going after a little bit of a struggle last year, but rebounded and is back. But I'd still give the edge to Vitello just for everything he's done in the past 5 years.
Brett, where are you standing on this? Because I know from some conversations that we've had earlier today and stuff like that, I know that that gap it's right there neck and neck between Tennessee and LSU. And I guess my question to you and to the rest of our listeners, if you want to chime in, what would kind of be maybe your level of concern 1 to 100 that if LSU is to go win another national title, they're kind of overtaking Tennessee as that top program of the 2020s?
Yeah, it's a tough one because you can argue both ways. 2 national titles in 3 years, you're doing something, and he earned this job in a way because it wasn't like he was an assistant coach and just took over reins. He came from a totally different program. He was successful with that program, so he's a proven track record as a winner. I think we said he came from Arizona, went to the College World Series with them. I think he lost to Coastal, matter of fact. So, I mean, I think if You'll substitute maybe missing Omaha for national championships. Like we missed Omaha this year, and we're going to get there. We'll probably be back next year, I hope. But I think with the second national title, you got to say that. I mean, two's more than one, and the ultimate goal in this game is to win national championships, and you've got two of them. So maybe that outweighs the simple miss. As successful as Tony's been, 5 of the last 6, or so, or whatever it is. But yeah, it's a tough call. It'd definitely be neck and neck, but man, it'd be hard to go one way or another, I guess, at that moment, I guess.
865-966-3435, your number to call if you want to call in, let us know, or text. I would like for you to answer that question for me. What's y'all's concern out there, 1 to 100, if LSU is to go win another national title? Where do you feel like they're standing in terms of overtaking Tennessee as that top program of the 2020s? Because Tony's got it in a great spot, man. You went out there and you had a super regional loss this year, but you're talking about what you're bringing in the portal this year. We can kind of move into maybe some portal talk now, Walker, as we have had a trio of arms that, I wouldn't necessarily say that Tennessee fans are losing sleep over these guys hitting the portal, but a couple important midweek arms that have entered the portal and have kind of said, hey, I want to go find my footing elsewhere. Do any of these moves in the portal kind of move the needle for you at all, Walker? Does it raise the sense of urgency in terms of we got to go get some more guys out of the portal, we got to get some more arms, replace these guys, or do you feel like this is still just a slow feeling out process that we're kind of in the middle of here and we're still kind of waiting for this roster to figure itself out?
I wouldn't call it a slow feeling out type of situation in the transfer portal, because the transfer portal goes really quickly.
Yeah, there's always going to be change on a baseball team or any team for that matter, and guys want a bigger role, and Tony's happy to oblige. He's never one to force you to stay or going to keep you from going. He wants you to continue to play for your baseball dreams, I guess, and maybe there's a better opportunity somewhere else for these guys. And I think the guys you're bringing in as well to replace these guys, you got to worry a little bit that these guys are going to stick in the MLB draft.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to continue to work as well as continue to find field positions. I mean, I don't, envy Tony in trying to balance this team out. There's a few other names you're probably still having conversations with, the Bargos, the Chapmans. What are they going to do? And Peebles, and but at least you have an idea of who is out of the portal right now. So nobody really sticking out. Maybe Loy, if anybody you could have a conversation with, was an interesting one that hit the portal, but I don't think I've been too surprised by anybody that hit it as of yesterday, I guess.
I think it's very interesting in terms of the sense that almost Tony's job gets even harder, because now he's out there and he's elevated this program to an elite level. You got to go out there and you got to recruit almost even more because of that point that you made there, Brett. You got probably 5-6 guys in each class every year now that aren't even going to be thinking about going to school. They're just going straight to the draft. And so you got to have plan B and plan C for all of these guys here now. We'll head to the phone lines, 865-966-3435, your number to chime in. We got Frank in Salt Lake. Frank, how we doing this afternoon, man?
Man, I'm the first caller on this show for the first time ever. I'm honored.
Clap it up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. All right, so a little bit about the College World Series, starting with the baseballs. But they're my beloved baseballs. I get emotional when I even think about them. This year, we weren't the best team, honestly. We had one good pitcher. I'm not dissing anybody else. We just weren't as good as the teams in the College World Series. I was willing to accept that, especially when Vanderbilt got sent home. I said, well, now I can watch this thing and not get the bad feels.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's nothing better than you obviously want your team to go out there and to perform at the best of their ability, but at the same time, if you go home early and you can send your rivals home like a Vanderbilt home even earlier than you, that's already kind of a feather in the cap in terms of the small victories, the moral victories. And then honestly, Frank, do you feel better? Do you sleep better at night knowing like you gave it your best shot in the super regionals and you don't go home kind of being the laughing stock of college baseball in the College World Series, and frankly kind of letting a 19 strikeout no-hitter just go by the wayside because of the way that Arkansas exited last night?
Well, yeah, okay, so now I have a bit of a different path when it comes to Arkansas, but in answer to your first question, goodbye Vanderbilt, good riddance. So I work at a sports bar. I'm TV boy, one of my gigs, and I turned everyone onto the College World Series because of that Arkansas kid. And this was all in one game, and my favorite part was when he was running away from the reporter who had a microphone in his face, and I'm not dissing the reporter who's doing his job, but it ran right into the arms of his players. And it was a great moment, and a lot of people were attracted to the College World Series who had never seen it. It was the talk. It was the talk of the day. So when it comes to Arkansas, I have a little bit of a soft spot. You know, I was sad to see him go just because of that, because of the amazing records broken in just one afternoon game. And out here in the Mountain West, because I'm in Salt Lake City, it was on at noon. Just perfect.
Frank, I can't help but get real happy just knowing that after Arkansas beat us at their place, rightfully so, they've got the opportunity to talk some trash, but they were kind of dragging Tony Vitello through the mud and saying, "Oh, he's not there yet. He can't beat up on, you know, his old mentor, and look at how emotional he was in his post game. He's definitely coming back to Fayetteville," and talking all that crap about Tony V. And now they lose at Omaha, and they're just saying, "Oh, Tony, come back. Please, I'm begging you. I want you for the next couple years. I know that Dave Van Horn's time is up eventually. Please come back, Tony." I want them to beg for Tony a little bit more. It makes me feel good, at least in that sense.
Well, now that part is ridiculous. They should have left that part out. They could have left with a little dignity, but they threw that in, and I thought, that kind of wrecked them a little bit. But totally valid point.
Who are you in on the way out here, Frank? Are you in for LSU or Coastal in the finals? Who are you rooting for? Are you a conference guy, or are you going for the Chants?
Nope, nothing against LSU, but I saw 2 or 3, however many, of the Coastal games, and my whole time I was thinking, wow, little-known Coastal. As it turns out, they're a baseball powerhouse. I got to go with them. I mean, and I don't have any major hate for LSU. In fact, I remember back in the day, I lived over by Georgia Tech, and me and my friends used to go when Georgia Tech played LSU. Cost you $8 to get in, and that was like back in the powerhouse college baseball days where Tech and LSU were like the 2 best teams. So I respect LSU's tradition. I'm pulling for Coastal.
There we go. I feel like we're all Chanticleers in Knoxville here, and we're going all the way out to Salt Lake, too, for you, Frank.
Yes, sir. Come on.
Anything else on the way out here, Frank?
No. I heard one of my gym coaches, trainer coaches, was like, "Oh, I hear the football Vols have like the number one, just signed some major player." And unfortunately, I've been so busy with College World Series, I didn't even know about that. So I'm hoping that's good news for the football Vols.
Is he referring to Faison Brandon, you think? Or
maybe
our new shiny quarterback?
Well, yeah, but okay, this is good about the quarterback because they say this Joey kid is not necessarily QB1. I've always said I think McIntyre is the way we should go.
The quarterback battle is obviously the forefront of every Tennessee fan's mind this upcoming season, and I think it's fair. Is Aguilar going to be able to kind of take on this offense this quick, kind of just being able to learn it that fast and not really having all that much time in Knoxville? And is he going to be able to kind of transition from an App State to a school like a Tennessee, playing against SEC defenses? Or is Jake Merklinger a guy who hasn't necessarily seen the field, but he's been in the system? And then to your point, Frank, you're saying, hey, I want the guy who is the highly rated quarterback who hasn't necessarily seen the field, but he's kind of maybe a mix of the two where he's got the raw talent but hasn't necessarily seen the field yet. I do think there's a small contingency of guys that are kind of in the George McIntyre camp. I think it's very interesting, and I honestly think this coaching staff is probably going to give all 3 guys the opportunity to go out there and prove it.
That's good to have, but they'll criticize us by saying we got a quarterback crisis if that happens.
Sure. If you got the age-old question, if you got 2 quarterbacks, or in this case, you got 3 quarterbacks, you got no quarterbacks.
Steve Spurrier did pretty good with that, though.
There we go.
That's true.
There we go. Frank, well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call.
Thanks
Thanks
for the chat, guys.
Yeah, man, no problem. Have a good one. Have a good rest of your day. Let's touch base back on the transfer portal stuff, Walker, before you got tied up on the phones. Appreciate Frank calling in. 865-966-3435, your number to call in if you want to hang out with us this afternoon. But Walker, you're kind of saying these pitching transfers, they don't move the needle for you all that much, but are you still wanting Tennessee to go out there and land a couple more guys in terms of just filling the depth spots in that bullpen now?
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the amount of guys we've lost in the transfer portal, not a lot of them raise the eyebrow a little bit. You know, maybe Loy, who decided to go in earlier this week, raises your eyebrow. But some of these guys, like one of the guys, Andrew Binke, he pitched in 43 games for us this year. That's not nothing. He had a 3.52. That's not nothing. We have a total of 12 guys who have entered the transfer portal from Tennessee. Yes, we've brought in 5. 4 of them are right-handed pitchers. And like I was saying earlier, this isn't kind of a feel out the roster situation. The way the transfer portal works and how fast things move around. We just lost the recruit out of Seton Hall to Texas earlier yesterday, which is tough because we have spots in the outfield and the infield we're still trying to fill in. So I get it. You want to be patient. You want to let Tony do his work, but we need some guys to come in. Like we got some of the recruits early in the season, a couple more since we got outed by Arkansas, but there's still some more work to be done.
Absolutely. And kind of what Brett pointed to as well, like even some of those transfers that you've gotten in, I'd say 2 to 3 of them are almost more than likely to go to the draft instead of hit up Tennessee. And so then that gets into the boat of, well, you've already lost a couple guys that are in the back end of your bullpen and on this depth chart. Now you're losing maybe some guys that haven't even gotten to campus yet. I do think it's fair. You got to go out there and you got to make a couple more splashes here in terms of pitching wise, and that's even before you're relying on some guys that are coming back starting wise. Like you're going to be losing all 3 of your starters with Liam Doyle, Marcus Phillips, and AJ Russell.
Yeah, and it's a little different, the transfer portal in baseball, because with basketball and football, the draft is months down the line from when the season ends. With this one, the draft is maybe a week and a half after the World Series ends, only like less than a month from when a lot of these teams' season ends. And guys, they want to go out to the draft combine, which just finished up this week in Arizona. They want to talk to their agents and see, hey, around like what am I hearing? You think I can get drafted? You think I can get drafted high? Before they make those types of decisions. A guy like that is a guy like Henry Ford, who we had on a visit a couple weeks ago, announced his top 3 with Tennessee in it, with Texas and another school in the SEC. But he wants to know, hey, should I think about getting drafted first? So we might see more dominoes fall a little bit leading into the draft and the hype there. And then after the draft, I bet a lot more dominoes will fall as well, which I'm sure we're going to see some guys show up then.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a bit of a feeling out process, and you're right. Like you want to go out there and you want to be aggressive at the start, but also I think you got to have ultimate faith in Tony Vitello, Frank Anderson, Josh Elander in terms of just kind of picking their spots with these people and making sure that you've got the right guy in your building. You know, I think a lot of kind of the headlines coming off of last season recruiting-wise with Tennessee, off of that national title, was, hey, we're not just going to come in here and give you NIL handouts so you can play for the defending national title guys. We're coming in here and we want guys that want to be in this locker room and want to produce. And you saw that from your Liam Doyles, guys that were just ultimate fiery competitors who went out there and gave it their all for Tennessee. It's tough because, kind of like I was saying, you're recruiting option A, B, and C because some of these guys are hitting up the draft, and you've also got to hit the transfer portal and say, I want to make sure that these guys are in it for the right reasons. They're not just wanting to come play for Tennessee because it's the new shiny program in the country. It's definitely a tough job for these guys to kind of get there in the right setting and in the right mindset.
Yeah, and Tennessee's a place where you get noticed as an MLB player as well. You're on a lot of national TV games. You're playing the best conference in America. Guys are getting drafted right now. Guys from Tennessee are showing up in the big league. So it's almost like going to play single-A ball, except you're getting maybe more money or whatever it is. You're getting better accommodations. You're getting you're not riding buses and things like that. Maybe you're not playing so-called professional baseball, but you're getting a professional experience with Tennessee baseball, and you're going to big MLB ballparks to start your season. So there's a lot of incentives as well to keep your name out of the draft. You can always go the next year if you're not a high draft pick. So, I mean, there's a lot of pluses to going to play for University of Tennessee baseball. So that's a huge selling point for Tony V, and he's had a lot longer than usual for the last few seasons compared to going to Omaha.
Mm-hmm. And that just speaks to the way college baseball is becoming so popular, is because guys want to stay in college longer.
Yeah.
That's what's helped Tony V get these guys to come here instead of going to the draft. Like, there have been plenty of guys who have been draft eligible that Tony has convinced to come here, and that helps because they can get paid to come here now. College baseball is such a higher profile now than it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, before Tony V even got here to this program. So guys know they can come here. They're not hurting their draft prospects because they'd rather, take nice planes in a certain area of the country to go play college ball than ride the bus in a hot summer for a minor league team if they get drafted lower. Like, it's just becoming a better avenue for guys to get to the pros is to go to college rather than go out early right out of high school.
And it's become, quite frankly, a good leverage play kind of for some of these kids as well, to be able to say, no, I'm going to go commit to Tennessee. And you've got MLB scouts that have got to say, man, I've got to sign this kid for $100, $200K over slot value because he's going to be able to go out there to Tennessee and show out early on in his career, go make NIL money, and even further improve that MLB draft stock. So while it is kind of maybe some of it's playing against Tony and the guys recruiting-wise in terms of trying to keep guys out of the draft, I think there is maybe a little bit of a glass half empty or glass half full approach, I should say, of saying, hey, well, you can get a lot of top-end talent that wants to say, you know what, I'll take 2 years here at Tennessee in terms of refining my talent instead of going to the single A's and the rookie balls having to slog it out and grind it through that. You can get on the Christian Moore path. You can go into Double A real quick. You make your way into Triple A, and I know it's the Angels, but he's found his way all the way up to the majors already. You find yourself into some of those organizations that say, hey, you did it on the highest level here at the SEC. I'm gonna vault you through the minors a whole lot quicker than what you would have done if you signed out of high school or something like that.
Yeah, and these scouts, like, yes, in college they use a metal bat. Yes, the averages are a lot higher than they would be if they were in A ball or Double A ball. But especially if you're in the SEC, the competition is getting to the point where it is a developmental league for the MLB as well. Like, it is comparable to those minor league leagues where 35 or 30-plus-year-old former pros are playing. Like, some guys are still over there trying to make it in the minor leagues, but scouts know that the SEC is a league they can use to develop guys and look to draft them.
Absolutely. We'll hit a quick break here. On the other side, more Fan Run Radio and The Drive coming up next. Stay tuned. Coming up right after this.
The Drive. Streaming worldwide at fanrunradio.com and on the free Fan Run app. This is Big Orange Country's sports talk radio superstation. Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Are you tired of trying to squeeze your dental appointments in on your lunch break or before you go to work? Here at Knoxville Smiles, we're all about making going to the dentist easier. That's why we're now open until 7 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. To take advantage of our new evening hours, make your appointment now at knoxvillesmiles.com or just call us at 865-539-1776. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
We make it easy to save money. Get access to thousands of discounts on shopping, dining, and travel with the C&B Plus Perks account. It's a powerful new way to save money with roadside assistance, cell phone protection, identity theft protection, and credit monitoring. Banking at C&B has its perks. Call or stop by a branch for more details.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Do you love to gamble? Do you enjoy listening to people talk about gambling? Well, then I have some good news for you. Every weeknight at 6 p.m., you can hear John Reed and William Pattison go over the slate, thanks to our friends at VIP Play. Sports topics aren't always black and white, but on the slate, they are always green. Nothing but trends, angles, and bets to try to make you some money. The Slate, presented by VIP Sports on Fan Run Radio, weeknights from 6 to 7 p.m.
Good afternoon. It's gotten heavier in the last few minutes on that Solway Bridge. All that traffic trying to get out of Oak Ridge, pushing through downtown right now. Starting to get a little bit busier. 40 west to 17th Street. Some of that traffic getting onto Alcoa Highway. 75 to the north, moving pretty decent so far this afternoon up through Anderson County, Campbell County. However, there's been radar north of Knoxville all afternoon long. AMCO Transmission, serving East Tennessee since 1962. Call AMCO in Knoxville, 832-8686. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into the drive. Sitting here, Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio in the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. Sam Beard, Walker Smith, Brett Holander getting you all the way through your afternoon. No Russell. Toes in the water, ass in the sand right now, Russell Smith.
Hope he's enjoying himself.
I hope he's enjoying himself, too.
Him and Bear. I think Bear, I believe, safely made it to his destination after some flight delays yesterday.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Was he freaking out about that?
I don't think he was freaking out. Well, he was apparently for Bear. He texted me and Jace yesterday and said he had a long delay, but it pays to be nice because he was talking to the front desk lady and he got upgraded to first class for that flight.
There we
go.
There we go.
He's living large where he's going.
You said he's sweet talk?
I was just about to say to Brett.
He said he was being nice to the lady at the desk and got a first class upgrade.
Where does that version of Bear? When does that version of Bear walk into the studio?
I don't know. I was surprised as well.
I mean, I'm lucky to get a what's up, Sam, like two out of the 3 days, two or 3 days a week. It feels like so. Hey, it's at least
is flying something Bear enjoys, or that's not on the list or anything.
No, it's not on the list.
Maybe not.
He is not the biggest fan of flying.
Okay.
However, this is not the first time he's flown first class. Surprisingly,
the list is so long you forget like what's on there and what's not on there.
That's something that is still on my list of things to do. I really want to fly first class and see if it's even worth it.
Everything I've heard is that it's worth it.
I think Bear probably doesn't mind flying. I think you start getting into the list of the things that he hates because of like the things that the people on his flight are doing, or the people at the gate, or like going through TSA or something like that, which I guess is all technically part of flying.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll have to ask him if planes are on. I know the list of things that he hates has been a touchy subject lately. He's gotten pretty passionate.
There were some dust-ups a week ago about the list of awesome things that Bear hates. Where
DR called in to stir it up.
He stirred it up. Bear got a little bit upset about the fact that apparently on the week that I went on vacation, they pressed the list of awesome things Bear hates buttons a little too much for Bear, and he got a little upset. And we went on there. We took a couple of things off just as an excuse to play the music again, which he also hates. But when flying, he doesn't hate flying. Like he's okay with flying. He's not like the most comfortable flyer. Still he gets first class. He's not the type of guy he wouldn't be able to fall asleep on the plane. Like he's a little bit shaky with planes.
Uptight.
He's a little uptight about planes, but he's not like a type of guy that's like shaking getting onto the plane and all that stuff. Like he can fly fine, just not the most trusting in planes.
Maybe to improve Bear's image kind of around our fan base and our following, we do like a biannual cleanup of the list that he hates, and like to your point, knock a few things off. Maybe just get that list a little bit shorter, because I'm not gonna lie, there's a couple of things on that list that I kind of agree with, but it's just such an extensively long list that I can't get behind him on some of it because it's just he hates some awesome things.
Well, that's Russell's thing. That's his pet project, that list. He loves it to death. A lot of that stuff, it is on there just because Bear doesn't want it on there.
Who owns that? Is it Russell that has the list?
He has the list.
Who else has access to the list?
Just Russell, to my knowledge. Okay. I don't have access. I don't think Jace has access. I don't think Bear has access to that list. It might just be a list that Russell keeps on there.
What if Russell's just sitting in his, sitting on his couch at night and just adding things to the list that Bear supposedly hates that Bear will never know if that gets on the list or not because he doesn't have access either.
No, Russ wouldn't do that. He would never miss the opportunity to
compromise the integrity of the list.
No, to publicly shame Bear for not liking something that's awesome. He would never take that opportunity away from himself and us.
Well, let's talk about something that is awesome.
Truly.
And that is our 2026 quarterback commit, Faison Brandon, as he is making his way into the Elite 11 camp this week. By all accounts, he has been lighting it up at this camp, and that's got to make you feel good. I know that it's, 7-on-7 underwear football that he's playing and stuff like that, but I think you got to take some of it out, and you got to maybe take some of it with a grain of salt. You heard from Brett Coleman, who is a NFL analyst, saying my one and only note for the day is that the Faison Brandon hype is well-deserved. Kid's a freak show. I love hearing that type of stuff. I know that maybe some of our fans think pump the brakes a little bit. We heard that with Nico, and, we know how that situation turned out. At least Faison Brandon wasn't in pajamas, maybe?
That's true.
Is that a good takeaway that we can have from this weekend as well, Walker?
I mean, even outside the Elite 11 stuff, like the Elite 11 stuff, he just threw the heck out of the ball. Like, he is everything as advertised on the field. He's going to be awesome. The 2026 class already, we did lose a 3-star commit, which we can get to later. But we still already have, 9 guys in that class, 2 of which are 5 stars, another 4-star receiver, and he's the headliner of that class. And the number one thing with him that I love is the fact that he's been on campus taking official visits multiple times as a recruiter, trying to get kids to come here that he wants to play with, that want to play with him. And outside the football stuff, that's what I really love to see. And that's the type of stuff that we didn't see a whole lot from Nico, being on campus all the time recruiting guys.
Something I loved even more as well, Walker, I read an article yesterday that after the Nico Iamaleava news and his departure midway through, winter ball basically and stuff like that, he's saying, yeah, the thought did cross my mind to try and reclassify into 2025 and maybe try and get on campus a little bit sooner, try and help this Tennessee football program out. But he said some of the reasoning why he didn't do that, he didn't want to leave his high school teammates
behind.
Clap it up for Faison Brandon. I love that part of it because he's a guy that he's the number one player in the country, the number one quarterback. He doesn't technically owe his high school teammates all that much of anything. He's the guy that's going out there and making these guys look really good on Friday nights, and he's going out there to all these camps and lighting it up. And I think it would be pretty easy for a guy of that caliber to kind of say, you know what, I'm this new 5-star prospect. I'm going to go in there to Tennessee and I'm going to show him. But instead, he kind of goes out there and says, I'm still a team guy for where I'm at currently. I'm going to stick it out for my senior season, and I'm just going to go in there in my normal year in 2026. And I think this is just a guy that he's made up of all the right things mentally, and you see what he can do physically on the field as well.
Yeah, and I think a little bit UT Vols fans, especially after all the Nico stuff and everything that happened with it, we're almost a little bit desensitized to getting this 5-star guy that we have in the wings just because we've had good quarterback play the last couple of years. Like Nico coming in, that was a 2.5 year hype train for him to get here. And then it feels like we got this Faison Brandon guy kind of quietly, and there hasn't been as much hype around it. Granted, we were really good this last year. We didn't really think we would need to look forward to this guy because we had Nico in the wings. And then that all leaves, and we're focusing on the quarterback challenge for this upcoming year between Mack, Merklinger, and Aguiar. And that's kind of the main focus, whereas Faison is quietly waiting in the wings as like this guy who could be a program changer. Even though we don't need our program changed, he's the type of guy he is.
Maybe this was the prince that was promised, Brett.
It could be.
No, what you love about him is he's all football all the time. And with Nico, he's now we know he's got tough parents or tough dad. He also seemed like a bright future in volleyball, so maybe his focus wasn't all there. Faison's had a lot of snaps under his belt. Nico only had about 10 coming into college, and I just think he's got a good head on his shoulders. And like you said, he's not flashy. He's just out there having fun and enjoying football. And I think he had from all accounts, he kind of had a little bit of a disappointing junior season in high school, and I think he has a point to prove there and things like that. So I can't wait for the Faison phase, and I'm thinking he's hopefully a day one starter. I have that high expectations for him, and hopefully Heupel sees the same thing.
Yeah, and Walker, I really liked what you said about how he's a guy that has come to campus multiple times in kind of the pursuit of other guys in this class, and I think you kind of look at maybe some top-name prospects for Tennessee and what you've got going. You've got Faison Brandon, obviously. He's that number one player in the country, 5-star. Gabriel Osinda, that tackle that you've got out of Chattanooga. If you can flip Tristan Keys, that would be your third 5-star of it. You feel like you're in a pretty good position with 5-star interior offensive lineman Darius Gray. So that could be another 5-star that you add into the mix. And as well, I believe Savion Heitzer is taking a visit to Tennessee this weekend as well. So that's the number one running back in the class as well. So there's potential for you to potentially have 5, maybe 6 5-stars in this class if things really go your way. And I think for all kind of the talk about can Josh Heupel start to recruit at this level and how many years is it going to take him to kind of establish all of that, it's going to be very interesting to see what's coming up. Hour number 1 of the drive in the books. Stay tuned. Hour number 2 of Fan Run Radio coming right up after this break.
The Drive.
When it's past high noon, it's time for a vodka soda made with a vodka you've actually heard of. I'm talking White Claw vodka soda made with White Claw premium vodka. JB Smooth only drinks vodka soda made with the world's smoothest vodka.
And you can too. Pick you up a bottle of the Triple Wave filtered vodka that's been distilled 5 times. White Claw Premium Vodka comes in 4 flavors: black cherry, mango, pineapple, and just vodka. You haven't had vodka like this. No one has. White Claw Premium Vodka. Please drink responsibly.
We really need to get some branded stuff. Shirts, hats, promo items, something professional.
I mean, we could just find a website and order a bunch of it ourselves.
You could, but you're taking a big risk. You don't know the quality, the fit, the timeline. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, I guess. But isn't that how everyone does it now?
Not the ones who actually care about how their brand looks. Look, if we're putting our name on it, it needs to be done right. We need SM Athletics.
SM Athletics?
Yeah. They specialize in working with businesses like ours. Apparel, hats, promo gear, but real, customized stuff. They actually care if it turns out right.
Probably a lot better than getting stuck with 100 t-shirts with crooked logos.
Exactly. Plus, they'll walk you through everything. Sizing, colors, material, so it matches the image we're trying to build.
Makes sense. What's the name again?
SM Athletics. Trust me, if you want to look like a real...
First, their door specialists will not try to needlessly upsell you because they are not commission-based like other places. This allows them to focus on your needs and not their pockets. They offer a range of beautiful garage doors in a variety of styles to suit the architecture of your home, and they will supply and install a wide range of garage door openers and accessories to take your door to the next level. To request a quote or schedule a service repair call, visit merrittgaragedoor.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Are you ready to show off that confident, radiant smile you've always dreamed of? Well, here at Knoxville Smiles, we're ready to turn your dream into a reality. At Knoxville Smiles, we're more than just a dental practice. We're your partners in achieving optimum oral health. From routine cleanings and checkups to advanced cosmetics and restorative procedures, we offer a wide range of services in an environment that makes every visit a positive and comfortable experience. At Knoxville Smiles, it's about more than just treatments. We're focused on creating a welcoming environment where you feel like family. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed with your comfort in mind, and our friendly staff is always ready to address your questions and concerns. Don't wait any longer to achieve a beautiful smile you deserve. Schedule your appointment at Knoxville Smiles today and take that first step towards a healthier, happier you. Call us at 865-539-1776 to book your appointment today, or just visit our website at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Good afternoon. There's a wreck over here to the right-hand side. Everybody's staring at it. 40 westbound at Gallagher View Road. Good afternoon. There's a wreck over here to the right-hand side. Everybody's staring at it. 40 westbound at Gallagher View Road here in West Knoxville. It's pretty busy out here now, 40 east and west. Over the top of West Hills, busy through downtown. On I-40 east and west there at 275. It's gotten heavier. I-40 out through Sevier County. Lots of radar headed up into Jefferson County. Hey, Fountain City Jewelers Wedding Band Weekend's coming up June 25th through the 28th. Call for an appointment. Fountain City Jewelers.
It's time for the Drive's Top 4 at 4.
Hour number 2 of the Drive here on Fox Sports Knoxville Fan Run Radio, starting right now. Don't know what Commander Chuck was on, but I know Walker Smith's going to be on point for the top 4 at 4 here. Walker, take it away.
Thank you. At number 1, over the past 24 hours, 3 Vols pitchers have entered the transfer portal. Junior Andrew Binke, Austin Breedlove, and freshman Boo Redford have opted to enter the portal following the 2025 season. Binke pitched 43 games with a 3.52 ERA. Breedlove in 25 games, 2 starts, had a 3.42 ERA. And Redford opted to redshirt this past season. It did not see the field. This brings the total players lost in the portal to 12.
Yeah, I feel like touching on this just a little bit earlier, I feel like not many of these guys necessarily get me worried about this pitching staff next year. Andrew Binke, a guy that had a role on the College World Series final team, obviously, had some good moments in that season. Struggled to stay healthy a little bit this year, came in times and looked solid, came in other times and just didn't really look himself. Breedlove is maybe the one that, to me, I feel like you could have squeezed a little more potential out of that one. I thought he was one of your more reliable midweek arms.
Definitely a midweek guy.
No offense to you, Mr. Bo Revord, but I feel like I keep a pretty decent track of where Tennessee baseball's at in their roster. I didn't really know much of Bo Revord.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. The guy redshirted, didn't see the field, and that's kind of a lot of this stuff with the baseball transfer portal. Honest Tennessee, they're kind of like a big football program. Like with the new transfer portal, you're not going to be able to keep your backup guys because they want to play as Tony Vitello goes out and is trying to bring in the best talent here. If these guys are reading the writing on the wall, like, I might not be able to play here if I stay. I got it to develop a little bit. Let me go look at the portal, see where I can land somewhere and play.
I think that's a good comparison. You know, it's like you're able to bring in a lot of top-end talent. It's going to be up to those kids to see if whether or not they can kind of weed themselves out and rise up the depth chart. And I think some of these guys are probably smart enough, to your point, Walker, to know, hey, I've got talent. I've got the ability to play at a really high level. It just might not be at Tennessee here in the SEC, something like that. Let me go kind of improve my draft stock, continue to kind of progress my way through as a prospect, and hope they can land somewhere on their feet for sure. But, yeah, I don't think any of those names that have hit the portal are ones that you're kind of smashing the panic button yet. Yeah. I don't have Russell's soundboard here, but smash.
At number 2, the Men's College World Series final is set after an incredible game last night between LSU and Arkansas as the Tigers walked off the Hogs in the bottom of the 9th to book their place in the championship series. LSU will face Coastal Carolina, who won the championship in 2016 in LSU's second appearance in the last 3 years. The series begins on Saturday night in Omaha.
I don't want to rain on Arkansas's parade too much, so I'm just going to spin this one into, I think this is an awesome Men's College World Series final. You talk about how good the Coastal pitching has been all season long.
Yeah.
Top of the
29
country.
straight games now?
Yeah, 26 straight wins, I think. Is it something like that?
Something crazy.
Something wild. They've been on a tear, absolutely, to end their season, lead the country in ERA. You look at LSU, Cade Anderson, that dude's a stud, potentially the number 1 overall pick. Ianson, Evans still on that staff. I think if you're a fan of watching pitchers duels in baseball, this Men's College World Series final is about as good as it gets.
100%. And, Coastal, you want to call them a little bit of a Cinderella story. Are they a Cinderella?
I think they're just good.
I mean, we had Murray State, who was a Cinderella. Coastal, at this point, is a certified great program.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing their coach do a press conference a while ago where a guy asked you, in your wildest dreams, could you imagine you guys gotten here at the beginning of the year? And he's like, yeah, this is what I've been telling my guys the whole year. We are this good. This is where we're supposed to be, and I expected it. And I think it'd be a great story if Coastal wins, and I think it'd be, a pretty incredible thing for LSU if they won and got 2 of the last 3, and that kind of vaults them to maybe the best program in the country, maybe not.
And also a great wrinkle, Coastal Carolina's first College World Series title, Jay Johnson was in the other dugout just for Arizona this time. So he kind of gets another crack at Coastal, maybe now with a little bit better roster, some more resources to work with. Coastal, a first-year head coach, where it's been a program that has been very respected amongst college baseball, but I think maybe they were thinking, there's no way that a first-year guy can go do this. But, hey, they've clearly done it all the way.
And I want to say, I can't remember it exactly, but I saw a post about it. I'm pretty sure Coastal beat LSU in that in the Super Regional that year. They went and won it.
They did.
So it's a little bit. There's no one left on that team, and Jay Johnson wasn't there. I mean, Jay Johnson, as you said, was at Arizona when Coastal won. But from program to program, LSU fans, they remember losing in that Super Regional to Coastal, and they're not going to think of it too fondly.
They got swept in that year.
They did.
They got swept in that year. They got the best of them in Game 1, and then they walked them off in that Game 2. I think LSU fans are going to be wanting their lick back, and I think Coastal fans are going to be saying, "Look at my pitching staff, bring it on! I want all the smoke."
At number 3, 3-star wide receiver recruit Tyron Evans announced on Wednesday night that he has decommitted from the University of Tennessee following visits to Miami, Kentucky, and NC State last week. The announcement comes 5 months after committing to the Vols as the number 81 wide receiver in the class of 2026. UT now has 9 commits in the 2026 class, with the lone receiver being 4-star prospect Tyree King.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting one, and I think maybe we can hash this out a little bit more after the top 4 too, because I wonder if this is kind of a sign that maybe we're making some progress on Tristan Keys. Do you think we're reading into that a little bit too much, Walker? Or do you think that's a fair assessment?
I don't think there's reading. I mean, when you see the picture of Faison and Keys and the unis together on Keys' visit, I don't know if there's much to read into that other than this guy, we're definitely on his list of teams that he wants to go to at this point. I think is he still technically verbally committed to LSU?
Yeah, he hasn't decommitted just yet.
This is the opposite of that situation for us. We'd love to get this guy to decommit and flip over here and play with Faison in 26.
Absolutely. And maybe, we thought when Nico was coming in, we thought we could get the combo of Nico Iamaleava and Carnell Tate. Maybe this is the true quarterback wide receiver combo that we've been waiting for as Tennessee fans.
At number 4, the Stanley Cup is a little banged up thanks to the Florida Panthers' celebration of back-to-back titles yesterday. The bowl of the famous trophy is cracked and the bottom is dented. Not for the first time and likely not the last. The Panthers won their second consecutive championship on home ice on Tuesday night, beating Edmonton in 6 games. The team, following decades of tradition, partied with the cup into the wee hours and kept the revelry going in Fort Lauderdale well into Wednesday afternoon. A spokesperson for the Hockey Hall of Fame said the keepers of the cup are taking the appropriate steps and plan to have it repaired by the celebration parade on Sunday. Made of silver and nickel alloy, the 37-pound cup is relatively malleable.
The Stanley Cup is the greatest trophy in all of sports, and I love how much it means to these hockey guys, and also I love how much these guys celebrate together after a championship. I feel like in so many sports, you saw it with Tennessee baseball last year. It's nothing against our team. You won that title, and you get onto your championship parade. That's one of the last times those guys were hanging out. They go into the draft. They then are just drafted immediately, and they're sent to another city to go play something. Coaches are getting on the road recruiting. Feels like Super Bowls in the NFL, it's kind of like you've got certain little groups of guys that celebrate together, and maybe your offensive line goes on a trip together, or the wide receivers do. I feel like the NHL, you always see just the entire team out at some club late night, having a good time, partying it up. Did you see Barkov's ring camera footage in his neighborhood?
So funny.
He was going out. He had the cup in hand, and he's still in a suit, and he's ringing ring doorbells in his neighborhood at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And he's just bringing the Stanley Cup along. He's like, hey, guys, look at what I just did.
Yeah, so apparently, his neighbor had told him, if you guys win, you got to bring the cup here when you get back,
Really?
Immediately.
That's awesome.
And on the ring camera, you hear Barkov is like, hey, I told you I was going to do this. You better be up and get out here and see this trophy. And he's got his whole entourage with him with the Stanley Cup in the background. Hockey players, they party hard.
They party hard.
They party hard when they win the cup. And, this, like it said, this is not going to be the last time that thing is going to be dented. Not the first. I bet that thing has had a lot of beer in it over the past 48 hours.
Oh, yeah. I didn't hear the stuff from his neighbor, saying, hey, you got to come over and celebrate with us. I just thought he was randomly knocking on doors and saying, hey, look at this Stanley Cup that I've got.
It's pretty great.
I always thought it'd be funny if there's just some guy who's in the neighborhood who's basically saying oh man, I don't care about hockey at all. What is this guy doing at 5 a.m. ringing my doorbell?
Truly. That'd be pretty funny though if a random if you're a neighbor to a NHL player, you might not be a hockey fan or really care about sports in general, but you live close to a hockey player, especially one as high profile as Barkov is. So when he shows up with the Stanley Cup, you have an idea who this guy is.
I'm getting out of bed at 5 a.m. and going and taking a picture with it.
Yeah, I'm going to take a picture with the cup.
I don't know. I told you that this morning, Sam. 98% of the viewing audience didn't even watch the Stanley Cup final. The Florida area, Miami, really? Fort Lauderdale, all that area, 98%. It's only 3 million viewers or something like that. And then I also told you about Sam Reinhart. He had the 4 goals. People were throwing their hats in his yard. Yeah, because he scored the hat trick or 4 goals. So some people know down there, but that would be pretty cool too.
Well, it's also a little weird because the Panthers, they're not in Miami. They're far outside in a place.
Yeah.
It's Sunrise, Florida.
Yep.
But they
Florida
still
owns hockey.
Yeah.
Between them and Tampa Bay, it's 4 of the last however many Stanley Cups.
They're all over the place. It's 5 of the last 4 have been in Florida, with Colorado being the one in between.
Okay.
Anywhere but Canada.
Anywhere but Canada, exactly.
I wanted to see Connor McDavid get one. He's one of the.
Come to an American team, Connor. We'll win you.
That's true. That's true.
I didn't get a chance to listen to his little press conference, but I saw some clips and apparently he kind of had his postseason presser and didn't necessarily seem like he was all that happy with what's going down in Edmonton, which is, I think he's got a right to do that. He's a guy that has been fantastic offensively. He's got the best number 2 man in the league with Leon Draisaitl right there. They can't find a goalie for him. I think if I'm that good, I'm going to get tired pretty quick with getting to the cup and getting all the way to the end and not being able to get the job done.
Well, he's eligible for a contract extension here in 2 weeks.
Okay.
He's in the final year of his 8-year deal. So
he's in the last year of the
deal?
Okay.
He's in the final year of his 8-year, 100. So he's going to the top guys in hockey are getting 14, 15 plus right now. So he's easily going to eclipse that. So it's going to be interesting to see what he decides to do.
Walker, does it blow your mind just as much as me seeing what these hockey dudes say their injuries are to after the cup? You saw Tkachuk being I tore my abductor off the bone. I don't even know what the hell an abductor is, but I'm I bet that hurt. I bet that hurt real bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like in hockey, they're so vague about injuries. Like the classic thing is like, oh, it's a lower body injury. Oh, it's an upper body injury. He'll miss a little bit of time. We don't know when he'll be back. There's no news. It's not like the NFL or basketball where like you get injury reports and you know exactly what it is. You know exactly the timetable. They're not very vague in those leagues. But in hockey, it could not be more vague with injuries. Like you never have any idea what these guys are going through.
No rolled ankles in hockey. No rolled ankles.
You had Halliburton in here complaining about a calf. He's got like a torn abductor, getting blasted into boards, and I think Barkov had his. I don't know if you saw his hand. It was like stitched up, black and blue too.
I did see that one, just like a stitch all the way through the middle of his hand. I don't even want to think about some of that.
Trying to hold a hockey stick.
Yeah,
those guys are something else.
Well, Walker, let's hash out one of your other headlines there, talking about the decommitment of Tyron Evans there as a 3-star wide receiver for Tennessee. As I was saying earlier, I feel like this has got to have a little bit of something to do with the positive momentum that you're getting with Tristan Keys right now. And we know we're coming off of his official visit here to Tennessee. You had Faison Brandon in the house for that. Walker mentioned those pictures that they were taking. You even had the boss man. You even had Heupel sitting in the middle of some of those pictures there. So you got to think that not only is he a target for Faison Brandon himself, I know that everybody in the building down there at Tennessee is probably thinking, we've done a pretty good job of getting these top quarterbacks into the fold. We got Mike Matthews as kind of that first 5-star wide receiver, but we still haven't necessarily seen him hit the field yet. It seems like Tristan Keys is kind of one of these guys that can really kind of get the ball rolling downhill for Tennessee recruiting-wise, and you can kind of say, hey, we go get top-level quarterbacks. We can also go get top-level wide receivers. Let's go in here and let's have a nice happy marriage and throw some deep balls in Neyland Stadium together and get you to the NFL.
Oh, yeah. And after everything that went down with Nico back in April, I wouldn't call this a transition year. It's almost like a forced reactionary year to everything that went down and the team you're going to have. And obviously, Heupel is still going to try and win every game. He's still going to go out there and try and make the college football playoff. Still wants to beat Georgia, Florida, Alabama, obviously. But, the plan changed. And now when instead of the future being, okay, we have Nico through this year and maybe next year, and then this guy's going to go to the draft and he's going to be awesome for us. Now, he's gone, and he brought in Aguilar. He's focused on this team. This team obviously has holes going into next year. But they're all in on this 2026 class. 2 5-stars, 4-star, 9 guys already committed, not even had 2 national signing days up for the 26 class. If he's going to try and make this class probably his best recruiting class at Tennessee up to this point.
I think you can classify this year as a test of the foundation that Josh Heupel has built with the Tennessee house. And to your point, I think the 2026 class are those nice fancy amenities that you're adding on to your house. Maybe you're getting a pool in your backyard, you're getting some new fancy things in the kitchen, or you got a fancy new bathroom or something like that. I think this year you're testing out that foundation because I think we've given Josh Heupel kind of the benefit of the doubt ever since he's gotten here with the state of the program that he kind of walked into. And he was having to clean up a mess for the first year, probably 2 years of his whole operation here. You've kind of patched some of the holes in the transfer portal while you've been stashing some of these guys out of the high school ranks that have gone from, hey, they're not playing in their freshman year or sophomore year. Now they're coming out here and they're developing for a few years before they go out there and really take it and they become starters this year. Whereas to now, I think it's kind of put up or shut up time for not only those guys, but I think some of these coaches too, to kind of say, hey, this is a year where we're going to figure out if we really kind of trust the development of this roster because we've got some new shiny toys coming back in for that 26 class.
Yeah, and there are going to be guys, obviously, that are going to stand out. Mike Matthews is a guy on there. Didn't play a lot last year. This is a year a lot of fans expect him to kind of show up and break out and be that number one option. But there are also some freshmen on this team. Another wide receiver, I'm blanking on his name, but he killed.
Braylon Staley?
Not Braylon Staley. Guy killed it in spring camp. I'm forgetting his name. I'll remember it in a second. There's some guys out there that killed it in spring camp. And it might be
Rodarius Jackson.
No. Shoot, someone else. I'll remember it in a minute. Don't worry about it. But there are young guys on this team that want to be a part of the future of Tennessee. But we also have guys on this team that want to win now. Jermon McCoy, a guy who's going to go to the draft after this year, is one of the best DBs in college football when he gets back from his ACL, hopefully. You know, they're guys, everyone still wants to win now, but obviously the 2026 class is the class of the future, and I think will end up, if they're as hyped as they're supposed to be, bring us back to where we were a year ago, maybe even better.
Brett, how much optimism do you have for this 26 class? Because I know there's a lot of uncertainty and some question marks leading into this season, but how much of that kind of foundational season that this year feels like it's going to be, how much of that do you feel like is kind of contingent on maybe landing some of these other 5 stars that aren't committed yet for the 26 class, but have got their eye on Tennessee, or probably keeping a pretty close eye on what Tennessee does kind of in that season now where you don't necessarily have that 5-star quarterback. You're going in there with a little bit of a different plan. Do you think some other elite prospects are kind of keeping an eye on Tennessee throughout this season and going, if we got a good year this year, I'm down to head over there, but if not, I might be taking my talents elsewhere?
Yeah, it's quite a change. We've seen Heupel here bring in a name or two here and there, but be on the list of all the top players at their certain positions, you know, on the offensive line, offense, you can see where his focus is right now. He's ready to change. I think he's grown frustrated maybe with the portal and some of the ineffectiveness he's had, and with this, he's going to be able to grow. Brandon and Tristan Keys and Savion Hitter. He's had good success with the running backs. I don't blame a running back from coming here, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, we talk about the portal so much, but you still have to get those freshman kids in here. You have to build some sort of foundation and build for the future as well. And he's showing he's going to do that. And we've talked about Faison for seems like a couple of years now. And no, it's great to see, and hopefully we have success with these guys though too.
I want to pose a question for y'all to think about as we head into break, as well as for you listeners out there, if you guys want to chime in on this one, 865-966-3435, your number to call or text to get on the show with us. Is it too early to tell in the Josh Heupel era if his system can kind of help you out for the next level? Because I feel like you started to get some guys into the NFL ranks now, but maybe they haven't exactly gotten off to the best start in the NFL. Do you feel like that is due in part to the Josh Heupel Tennessee system, or do you think maybe once you get some of these 5-star guys that we're talking about in there and you match elite talent with a good college scheme, do you feel like that's going to be able to help people out at the next level? That's my question for y'all for the break. If you guys want to chime in and give us your thoughts on that one, you can at 865-966-3435. We'll head to a break. More Fan Run Radio right after this. You are listening to The Drive.
The Drive.
105.7 FM, 1340 AM. Online at fanrunradio.com and streaming on the free Fan Run Radio app. This is Fan Run Radio. Knoxville.
Ready to launch your career? Axle Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axle proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axle, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axle Logistics is the place to start your career.
Here's more with Dr. Stephen Malone from Knoxville Smiles.
So in the past, we've talked about salivary testing and how that can benefit your overall health. And today we're talking about nitric oxide levels. And people don't talk about that in dentistry very much. It's a new thing. So what we're learning is that mouth breathing is detrimental to your health, and we should think about nasal breathing as a priority. And sometimes we have structures in the mouth that keep people from being able to breathe through their nose, and there's things we could do with orthodontics, possibly surgery. There may be some bone in the mouth that is overgrown in the floor of the mouth that can affect where your tongue position, and it makes it hard to breathe through your nose. And people think that's all about sleep apnea, but it could be about just the way your circulation works. As we get older, the nitric oxide levels decrease anyway, so we don't want to make that worse by not having the proper structures. Today in dentistry, we're looking for that, and we're trying to do things to help people. So sometimes straightening your teeth and giving your tongue space is a health issue, not a cosmetic issue. So if there's something that we could do to try to help you figure that out, that's what we're trying to do every day.
Schedule your appointment online today at KnoxvilleSmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Are you looking for a treat that will knock it out of the park at the next watch party? Just like your favorite baseball team, Crumble brings the best lineup week to week with an expanded roster that includes key lime pie, strawberry cake, or my personal favorite, Monster featuring M&M candies. Let Crumble treat you to the best cookies in the game. Download the Crumble app and start earning rewards. You can even vote monthly on what flavors you would like to see at any store of your choice. Warmer weather is here, so get to the ballpark, but don't miss the cookies.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Good afternoon. Building pretty good now on Chapman Highway going outbound, back out towards Seymour. Stop and go out here in West Knoxville. Kingston Pike, especially in Farragut, where it's busy there. At Concord Road, heavy traffic on the interstate. No surprise. 40 east and west between Paper Mill and Pillsbury Parkway. Fountain City Jewelers Wedding Band Weekend. It's coming up June 25th through the 28th. Call for an appointment or go by and see them at Fountain City Jewelers next to Litton's. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into the drive, live here in the White Claw Hard Seltzer studios of Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio. Getting you to the end of the workday. Almost there, guys. Just a couple more minutes for you. Maybe you're already leaving the office. Maybe you're already on the way back, stuck in traffic.
Just wrapping some stuff up.
Wrapping it up, telling the boss, "Hey man, I got to get out of here. I got some stuff to handle. I got some players to guess in terms of the most important players for 2025. We were talking about this in the break. I figured we'd come right back with it as y'all have discussed number 25, Peyton Lewis. I think we will get into some running back talk here. Walker wanted us to guess number 24, and then he was like, it's
we don't need to guess 24. It's Max Gilbert.
It's Max Gilbert.
The kicker.
I mean, nothing against Max Gilbert.
Who is important. Let's not say he's not important. He scores points.
He scores
Not
points.
a lot of guys on the team do that.
We saw him not score some points for you at some times last year.
He did.
And
hopefully more extra points.
There we go, Brett. There we go. Yeah, no, I mean, it's an important position. I don't want to just gloss over the kicker, but when it comes to, like, off-season talk, are we going to sit here and talk about Max Gilbert for 30 minutes, guys? I mean, we need to just kick it right down the middle in between those two yellow pipes that are on either side of the field. That's the goal for Max Gilbert.
Yeah,
as consistently as possible.
Just keep on keeping on. Obviously, I think that we did have a little bit of frustration with him, but his stats in last season: redshirted in 23, 2024 redshirt freshman, made 20 of 26 field goals. Those 6 field goals I feel like bled into our minds a lot more because they were in some pretty key spots.
Yeah,
made all 54 of his extra points. Was 3 for 6 from field goals at 50+ yards out. So he wasn't a guy that had a lot of length to his kicks, which, maybe another year in the Josh Heupel Tennessee weightlifting program, maybe he's able to add 5 to 10 yards on his leg, but we'll just have to wait and see. But, kicking, we don't got to spend 10 minutes on it, but it is important. We want to see some development from him.
Were we mad in the Georgia game when we didn't kick a field goal or something? Wasn't there a play, or what am I thinking of in the Georgia game?
There's a lot of stuff to be mad of.
I know, but it was like a second half opening drive.
I'm sitting here, Brett, and I was at a table of a wedding watching that game on a phone, just so mad.
Or did we not go for it? I can't remember. It was like right on the edge of like a going for it, or
I thought we maybe let him kick it and maybe he missed it.
I don't know. I can't remember. There was something in that game. I remember. There was no, as Walker said, there were numerous plays in that game, but I'd have to go back and look. But I don't know. Kicking game is one of the 7 maxims, right? So how important it is, and you almost can be on the list without being on the list, I guess. But congrats on making the list, Max Gilbert.
Yep.
Number 23, though, Walker, you're saying is a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, you would probably know this. You would probably know this guy. He's on the defensive line.
Okay.
Got a lot of guys there.
Exactly. Not a lot of guys there because we played a lot of them.
Yeah.
We played a lot of them, but we lost some in this last year. This is a guy who on the defensive line, not too notable, but a guy that you might remember because he's been in college for a while.
I'm trying to think of like a good – I don't think this is going to be necessarily like a Bryson Eason or a Jackson Moy. I would say they're higher up on this list.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of I'm trying to rack my brain of a good rotational player here.
Now, do you think they list edges or D-line, or do you think it's all one? Because I'm thinking of edges as well, but –
which edge would come to mind if that is a –
Well, he threw me off now by his been here a while.
He is a defensive end. He's an edge.
Okay.
He's been here a while.
Has been
I
maybe
mean,
not.
Joseph's seems more important than 23.
I think Joseph's is
He's like top
in
10.
the top 5 of this
top
list.
5.
He's up there.
I'm just trying to think. Jordan Ross is a young player, but I don't think he's there. Go with your guess. I'll see where you're thinking.
I want to say Tyree West, but I think he's going to be even higher in this list than 23.
It is not Tyree West.
Another guy who's been here a while. Bryson Eason was the one that popped into my mind too.
All right, let's just
go
ahead and get to it. It's Dominic Bailey.
Bailey.
Dominic Bailey.
Sorry, Dom.
Yeah, guy who's been here. A guy who's been here since 2020. Played one game in 2020. Redshirted with 2 games in 21, and has played all 13 games in 22, 23, and 24 with 10 starts on the defensive end.
Okay.
In 24 with a career high 25 tackles and 3.5 tackles for loss and 2 sacks.
I feel like this is a good pull for number 23. Like I feel like Dominic Bailey is going to be a guy when you talk about what Tennessee was so good at last year in terms of being able to rotate bodies on that defensive line all throughout the game, having fresh guys on there, snap in, snap out. I think Dom Bailey's a guy that is definitely going to have to go out there and say, hey, I'm not necessarily going to be the star player on your defensive line, but you need production out of him. I felt like he had a good game against – I remember him having some moments at Oklahoma. I think he's just a guy that's going to kind of fall into the category of honestly, like maybe what Jackson Moy kind of was for us last year, a guy that's just a real high-energy spark, doesn't necessarily come in and start every single snap, but he's going to be a guy that's going to go in there and make his presence known whenever he's out there on the field. I like Dom Bailey. I think that's a good pull there at 23. I'm really excited about this defensive line. Like I know that
for sure
people are saying, oh, you're losing James Pierce, you're losing Omar Norman Lott, Amari Thomas. Like those were guys that were big veteran key presences on that D line. But man, I've got as much trust as any coach on our staff with Rodney Garner. Like you tell me to jump Rodney Garner, I'll tell you how high. Like I'm going as far as you want me to go. I'm running through a brick wall for Rodney Garner. I think he's got that type of mentality, like in with his own guys in that position room. And so I think you're going to see like a Joshua Josephs take on that role as your James Pierce. And I think you're going to see, your Bryson Easons and your Jackson Moys kind of turn into maybe that Omar Norman Lott and that Amari Thomas. So I think this is a room that has guys that are like really willing to step up into that next role.
Yeah, and that's the plan for this defensive line. Like there isn't the, James Pierce Jr., which is, the guy that's pinned in the middle of the bulletin board. Like we have to stop this guy and double team him. But this is, it's what Gardner likes to do. It's a deep defensive line. He's going to rotate a lot. And that gives time for guys like Bailey. He's a super senior, along with a super senior in Bryson Eason. Other guys like Tyree West and Jason Jenkins to all get opportunities to get after the quarterback and stop the run.
I think Jenkins is gone.
Yeah, he's at Florida State now.
That's right. He is gone. Sorry.
But
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be a guy who he's going to have to step up. He's been in college football for a while. So, he's probably going to be on that starting line every game. And he's going to get rotated in and out, and that's how he keeps our guys fresh. And when you're fresh, you got to get after it.
How much more pressure do you feel like is maybe on this defensive line this year with some of those names that we mentioned have departed now? You feel like you've got a lot of talent maybe in that linebacker room, but still some guys that are still pretty young in their career and are going to be kind of seeing some things for the first time. You've got a guy like Jermod McCoy who's going to be out with an injury kind of to start the season. Maybe you're not 100% in that secondary. do you feel like there's some added pressure to this defensive line, Brett, to be able to say, hey, we got to get home to the quarterback, maybe even a little bit faster in these first couple weeks of the season, just knowing that you're maybe a little bit closer to kind of those first couple years of the Heupel era with not as much back-end help?
The strength of your football team's up front, no doubt about it, on either side of the ball, any position group. That's your strength, and your D-line helps every other position on the defensive side of the ball. The less time the quarterback has to throw it, the less they have to cover, and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, just looking kind of through the depth chart, you're going to go 8-10 deep easy on this year's team. I don't think you have any worries of playing a Jordan Ross in his second season. I think he flashed even on special teams. He popped. So I'm kind of expecting him to make a little bit of a jump this year. Obviously mentioned some of these other guys, but yeah, I think with a lot of these guys you expect big things. And Joseph is a borderline first-round draft pick. You expect him to play like that. So he mentioned he got caught watching what Pierce was doing. Now it's time. You don't have him there, so can you go and be that guy for us? So I'm excited about that position group. I think the only question is really at your back end. What are you doing at safety? So, again, that's where the defensive line comes in handy to help those guys on the back end. So.
Yeah, and Joshua Josephs is going to be that guy.
Yeah.
That fill in that James Pierce Jr. spot. That is going to be we have to stop this guy. Everything else will, put guys on islands against everyone else. This guy cannot be on an island. That's going to be Joshua Josephs, which is going to give opportunities where other guys on the defensive line, like Bailey, they got to be able to get pressure and force guys to block them.
Who are maybe some of those guys, younger guys in that defensive line room, Walker, that you're saying, hey, I need you to step up for us to really kind of become our full potential as a room? Is it a guy like a David Hobbs who's now sitting there as a junior? Is he a junior or a sophomore this year? I think he's a junior. Yeah. So, I feel like that's a guy that is kind of being asked to say, hey, I need you to go and take a step up as a rotational piece. Who are some of those younger guys, maybe some highly touted recruits that have been sitting in the wings? Who are maybe some of those guys that you think are going to come out here and really kind of be a difference maker in terms of Tennessee's D-line reaching that ceiling that it needs to?
I don't know about difference makers you're going to find at underclassmen, because this defensive line, it's going to be a lot of seniors. It's going to be a lot of experienced guys. But one thing that Gardner has been very key on is he wants his older guys to be tutoring these younger guys at the same time. We saw it with Josephs and Pierce, like you just said. And two guys that Bailey has been focused on are a guy named Tyree Weathersby and Carson Gentle, guys that are reserve spots that might see a little more playing time this year. But, in this Gardner defensive line, you're going to get playing time. He wants to be able to play 8-9 guys a game to keep guys fresh, to get after the quarterback and not be slow running after running backs and receivers if they need to. So those are a couple guys that Bailey, has been helping tutor get along in Gardner's, Tyree Weathersby and Carson Gentle.
I also wonder, too, if you could play another linebacker in the middle with like a T-lander and have Carter off the edge a little bit too. I know he had the ability to get after the quarterback in high school and kind of came in more as a kind of edge rusher and kind of thrown into that position, because we've always been thin, I feel like, at linebacker. And as athletic as he is, hopefully you don't have to use him that much in certain situations, but you just never know. And maybe he's just used as a blitzing linebacker, but just kind of throwing different ideas out there. And maybe that's something that Tim Banks will try and think about doing as well. If you need to get an extra edge rusher in there and you need to drop Dominic Bailey on the inside, maybe just kind of give a defense a different look. And I think Carter has the ability with his athleticism to maybe get after the quarterback a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, some stuff that I've been reading in terms of you went out and you got a lot of those kind of veteran analyst type of coaches for the defensive side of the ball specifically a lot this year. And so kind of what I was reading from that was Tim Banks is able to kind of take a little bit of a zoomed-out approach now on this defense, and he's not necessarily keyed into certain position rooms and having to kind of supplement the teaching of some of those guys, whether it was in the secondary or some of those linebackers or something. He's now able to kind of have a little bit more of a hands-off approach in certain positions, and is able to just kind of monitor the defense as a whole. Yeah. And so maybe he's seeing something on the defensive line that he wants to change. Or maybe, to your point, Brett, maybe there's a couple guys in that linebacker room that he can kind of sit down and say, hey, we think you've got some versatility in this room, and we feel like you can play linebacker, and maybe you can, even be a guy that can kind of come off the edge, cause some havoc, kind of some not making comparisons on anybody with our roster currently, but like kind of that Micah Parsons like impact that he had on the Penn State defense, where he was a guy that could play linebacker for him, could be off the edge, and could really just wreak havoc. I think it's going to be interesting to kind of see Tim Banks really being able to maybe zoom out a little bit more and identify maybe some weak points of the defense that he maybe wasn't even be able to see last year with just having to have his hand in the fire in a couple more different things.
Yeah, and with the way that the defense is set up, the D-line is going to have to be our strength because we know we don't have depth out there at the safety and corner spot. Especially, we got to make sure McCoy gets back and is completely healthy from his ACL. We're expecting Ricky Gibson to be awesome. We're expecting Boo Carter to be awesome. We're expecting McCoy to be awesome. But that's not a lot of depth, and the D-line is built on depth, and they're going to have to be the strength of this team. All 8 of those guys, all 9 of those guys had to see the field. Guys like Nathan Robinson, who are on that second line. Guys like Tyree West. He might not be a guy that starts on the defensive line ahead of Dominic Bailey or Josiah Josephs, but he's going to get a lot of playing time, and that's got to be our strength, given the depth.
And I think you saw at some points last year, like, Keenan Pili goes down, it really felt like that defense not necessarily took a step back in terms of production, but it felt like you lost a big voice in that defense. And he was that guy who was kind of the on-the-field defensive coordinator. And so are you going to be able to kind of have those guys? Are you going to be able to replicate that? Are you going to be able to have some more guys just in the system that can step up into those moments? Because it's football at the end of the day. One of these guys is bound to get injured at some point. You don't wish it on anyone, but – It's football, and so you're going to have different guys rotating in and out of this system as we go through the season. And so being able to not really lose a step from your Keenan Pilis to your backups, and I'm not just pointing out the linebacker room specifically. I think that goes for anybody on the defensive line in terms of kind of new voices and new leadership. You've got some new guys in the linebacker room, and I think especially guys definitely in that secondary where I'm not going to lie. I'm a little scared about the safety spot as we're sitting at it
obviously,
right now.
The safety spot, like, we don't know who that's going to end up being. Like, it's going to probably be Turrentine at strong safety, and that free safety spot, I couldn't really tell you.
I think it's just going to be Edris Farouk, but I don't really know what it is after that.
Yeah, after Farouk, like, if you go like on ourlads.com, like the depth chart website, there is no one after Farouk right now.
I just wonder if you could slide Boo over the spot if you can play Jordan Thomas, who was a listed starter before he went down with an injury, and I think he played one-on-one coverage on the outside. I don't think there's many receivers outside of, like, obviously we saw Jeremiah Smith. You're not facing those guys because we did see our guys get torched by those guys. But overall, I take our corners against any of the wide receivers in the conference off the top of my head. I mean, that can really hurt you. Ryan Williams got shut down by Jerron McCoy for the most part. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I think the secondary, I mean, we're expecting McCoy to be awesome, but,
Draft people say
draft people thinks he's going to be awesome, but let's, err on the side of caution. The guy tore his ACL. That's not nothing. We see it all the time where guys take a little bit of time after that, and hopefully he is taking the time to adjust this offseason and he comes back good as new, but we're going to need that if this DB if this DB room is going to hold up.
No, 100%. It takes some time to do that, and we'll continue to talk some Tennessee basketball, Tennessee football on the other side. Got to take a break real quick. More Fan Run Radio coming at you right after this. You're listening to The Drive.
The Drive.
Can't get enough Fan Run Radio? Download the free Fan Run app and take the best Tennessee sports conversations with you wherever you go.
Yeehaw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Are you tired of trying to squeeze your dental appointments in on your lunch break or before you go to work? Here at Knoxville Smiles, we're all about making going to the dentist easier. That's why we're now open until 7 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. To take advantage of our new evening hours, make your appointment now at KnoxvilleSmiles.com or just call us at 865-539-1776. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
We make it easy to save money. Get access to thousands of discounts on shopping, dining, and travel with the CNB Plus Perks account. It's a powerful new way to save money with roadside assistance, cell phone protection, identity theft protection, and credit monitoring. Banking at CNB has its perks. Call or stop by a branch for more details.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Good afternoon, T-Dot. Still assisting with a couple of wrecks out here. Just busy where you would expect this time of day. I-40 east and west here at Paper Mill, trying to get over the top of West Hills, building to the north again with that traffic volume on 75 here at Merchants Road, continuing on up through Anderson throughout Campbell County. AMCO Transmission, serving East Tennessee since 1962. Call AMCO in Knoxville, 832-8686. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Get down,
Wrapping up hour number 2 here on The Drive, live in the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios of Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio. Talking a little Tennessee football, breaking down the roster for next year. Want to talk about the offensive side of the ball now, as we are coming off of a historic season from Dylan Sampson and what he was able to do as that main starter in the Tennessee running back room, and really kind of just being able to take over the production there. Now, Dylan Sampson in Cleveland.
Yep.
Probably going to have to take Shedeur Sanders to practice now after the news that we heard about him.
Yep.
Might have to carpool with Shedeur, or maybe Dylan Gabriel's going to have to take him. But no more Dylan.
We got some stuff on that coming up.
Okay, we got that coming up. No more Dylan Sampson in Knoxville, and I think it brings up an interesting conversation. Are you going to be able to kind of replicate that production that you got from Dylan Sampson? He was breaking records that have stood at Tennessee for years and years and years, and now you're kind of coming into this year, and you've got, I would say, a solid running back room by committee. But I think the question that I would pose to you guys is, are you feeling comfortable with being able to kind of replicate that running back room by committee? I feel pretty good about what you've got with just Deshaun Bishop and Peyton Lewis as a duo, and then you went out and you got Star Thomas in the transfer portal. I feel like Tennessee is not going to have, obviously, that star potential that Dylan Sampson had. I think it's very feasible, though, that they can come in here and do a pretty good job of kind of replicating that production that Sampson gave you last year.
Yeah, I'm just more curious. The last couple years, there's always been that one guy who's been waiting in the wings that breaks out the next year. From Wright, after we had Wright a couple years ago who broke out, Sampson was in the wings waiting. Sampson breaks out the next year and is just awesome, had an incredible season last year. And then it was Peyton Lewis and Deshaun Bishop waiting behind him. And it doesn't feel the exact same like one of these guys is expected to break out this next year and take that RB1 spot just immediately. Like, it's going to be a challenge probably into the season, which is going to lead into that running back by committee thing we're talking about that we expect. But it also gives an opportunity for both of these guys to show out and see which one of them really wants to take that. Because the way the offense works, Heupel doesn't like to sub in offensive sets. He likes to go, 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 which means Peyton Lewis or Deshaun Bishop, they're going to be out there for likely most of those drives. So it's going to have to be one of those guys to step up and take that job.
Yeah, and I think, I don't speak for anybody in the Tennessee football facility, but I feel like you put them under true serum or you put them under a lie detector test, I feel like they would want to say, I want Peyton Lewis to be that lead guy. Like, he's just the guy in terms of size, frame, what he can bring speed-wise, having that big of a frame and stuff like that. I do think he provides kind of the most versatility for this Tennessee running back room. But as we saw last year, him staying healthy and staying on the field was a big problem. And that's where a guy like Deshaun Bishop became so valuable, because it felt like he was a guy that you could just always lean on. And like you said, Dylan Sampson was shouldering most of the load, if not all of it. But you felt pretty good about what Deshaun Bishop gave you whenever you got out of that sense. And so who's going to kind of take over that number one role? I do think it's an interesting question. Do you have any sort of preference, Brett, between Peyton Lewis or Deshaun Bishop, or do you think these are just two able-bodied guys that can be a running back one? It's just up to who the coaching staff kind of views as that main guy.
I don't mind even Star Thomas. I mean, he had double-digit carries almost in every game for Duke last year. He's got a lot of experience, held on to the ball, which is very important. But I like the idea of having the committee. I love Sampson and all, but maybe he got worn out so much so we didn't even have him in our last game of the season.
Right.
So
very fair point.
So I think no matter who's back there, we've proven in 2 years with Heupel, we've led the conference in rushing. I'm to the point where maybe Heupel will adjust his offense a little bit this year. Maybe he doesn't go as fast. Maybe we're a little bit more methodical. Hey, if we only got 3 running backs, let's rotate the guys. Let's stay fresh as can be through 4 quarters. Let's wear down a team, because I don't see if we're going to win shootouts this year. I know a lot of people on our station have questions about our wide receivers. So how explosive can we be? Maybe it is some more 12 personnel, and you just run 3 backs at people, which I think keeps turnovers down, keeps our defense off the field, because sometimes last year we got going too fast. We were 3 and out, boom, defense is right back on the field. So I think I don't have a preference. I think they're all going to do a job when their number's called, and I have all the faith in the world in all 3 of these guys, to be honest.
What's interesting is that they're all pretty different, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like Peyton Lewis, you talked about his main thing, his frame, his size, plus his speed. He's a guy that can go over some dudes. He can bang bodies inside and just run over a couple guys and bounce off tackles. But he also has breakaway speed, almost similar to what Sampson was last year. Like, Sampson craved contact, but was also extremely fast and could break away. Deshaun Bishop is a guy who was a track star in high school. This guy has blazing speed, but isn't the type of guy that seeks out contact. He's the type of guy that'll try and beat you on the edge and turn the corner, and you're never going to see him again. And Star Thomas is more of a receiving back. Like, he can catch the ball out of the backfield on some flat routes, on maybe a couple angles that whatever Heupel likes to do with him. They all bring sort of a different thing to their game that Heupel will be able to use.
Yeah, I think the versatility to that room is going to be a big strength for them. And I think you're going to see, maybe to Brett's point, you don't exactly have as much confidence maybe in your quarterback and in your wide receivers to start off the season. So maybe you lean a little bit more on that run game and you get into some 12 personnel stuff, and that's where what you're talking about there, Walker. You can kind of mix and match between some of those guys that maybe fit a little bit better in that 12 personnel scheme, or you get out there and you want to throw the ball a little bit more, and you can get a guy like a Star Thomas who's a little bit more of that well-rounded back, a guy who can catch the ball a little bit better out of the backfield and stuff like that. I don't worry too much about the run game ever in the Josh Heupel offense. I feel like all of the highlights and stuff come from the big deep balls and completing your 50, 60-yard passes, and you score in a minute and a half, but this offense is predicated on the run game, and you see so much being able to just wear down an opponent, and how much these elite running backs that you've had in the conference have really helped you out. You mentioned your Jalen Wrights and your Dylan Sampsons, and hell, it felt like even like Jabari Small at times when his number was called, when he was in that mainstay role, he was doing pretty solid for you. So you may not have the record-breaking performances and being able to keep on, on the watch of, are we breaking a Tennessee record or an SEC record today? But I think you're going to also see a really strong room as a whole, and I think you're going to see that versatility be something that this offense leans on when there are some question marks maybe in terms of just passing the ball.
Speaking of passing the ball, I remember the receiver I was thinking about earlier.
Give it to me.
It was Travis Smith Jr.
Travis Smith, okay.
Travis Smith Jr. He's the freshman that showed out in camp a little bit. That,
From Atlanta, yep.
Heupel doesn't like to play freshmen very much
at all.
But given the receiver situation we got, feels like it's going to be Matthews, Brazel, and Staley are kind of going to be that 1, 2, 3. But Travis Smith, guy to look out for, especially in fall camp. You never know. He's got speed. He caught a lot of good balls. So obviously we need to figure out who's going to be throwing him the ball first. But
that's a guy whose frame just gives you all the confidence in the world. Like a guy who's coming out of high school at 6'4", 200 already. Like that's someone that you throw into the weight program that you're talking about, Walker. And it's like, man, you get 10, 15 pounds of muscle on this guy. I'm not drawing the Jeremiah Smith comparison at all, but just talking about like physical frame and how much of a freak he looks like in terms of size, speed, and strength and athleticism. Like Travis Smith feels like a guy that checks a lot of those boxes for you for sure.
And I guess going back to the run game, like you don't know what you have on the offensive line either. Like we don't know about Cooper and Spraggins who knew how to play with each other. You got all 5 new guys basically across your line. Especially a young guy, David Sanders Jr. I mean, you're not going to want to put him on an island against a lot of these edge rushers. And so if you can establish a run game, that's only going to help your passing game. So I think you got to, it's easier for these young guys to go out and maul somebody than it is to kind of sit back on their heels to start games and things like that. So I'm hoping Boo's involved maybe in the run game or in the pass game a little bit out of the backfield too. I just want to see Heupel put a new scheme in a little bit too.
Feels like that kind of lost a little traction. Like we were all begging for Boo, like, hey, Boo's out there catching passes.
He should just take notes of what Ohio State did to us. We could not guard out of the backfield.
That's true.
All the motion that they were running with. Those guys,
get more motion. Maybe let's get a 4 wide receiver set. Let's see a 5 wide. Let's make it hard to guard. 3 wide receivers is too hard to guard the last couple of seasons.
The way it's hard to guard for us is that we move so fast, and that's just the way Heupel is. And like,
I just can't see us going fast with a guy who hadn't been in the system and then a young guy that's never even taken a snap. I just can't, at least to start the season. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not a football coach, so what do I know? It works on.
You're a football coach, though, Brett.
Yeah, I am.
Football.
They tell you to move the ball fast than that.
They do. Tiki-taka.
That's right.
We can talk about the offensive line during Russell's next vacation. We got to take a break, though. Hour number 3 of The Drive coming up right after this.
The Drive.
When it's past high noon, it's time for a vodka soda made with a vodka you've actually heard of. I'm talking White Claw vodka soda made with White Claw premium vodka. JB Smooth only drinks vodka soda made with the world's smoothest vodka.
And you can too. Pick you up a bottle of the Triple Wave filtered vodka that's been distilled 5 times. White Claw premium vodka comes in 4 flavors: black cherry, mango, pineapple, and just vodka. You haven't had vodka like this. No one has. White Claw premium vodka. Please drink responsibly.
We really need to get some branded stuff. Shirts, hats, promo items, something professional.
I mean, we could just find a website and order a bunch of it ourselves.
You could, but you're taking a big risk. You don't know the quality, the fit, the timeline. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, I guess. But isn't that how everyone does it now?
Not the ones who actually care about how their brand looks. Look, if we're putting our name on it, it needs to be done right. We need SM Athletics.
SM Athletics?
Yeah. They specialize in working with businesses like ours. Apparel, hats, promo gear, but real, customized stuff. They actually care if it turns out right.
Probably a lot better than getting stuck with 100 t-shirts with crooked logos.
Exactly. Plus, they'll walk you through everything. Sizing, colors, material, so it matches the image we're trying to build.
Makes sense. What's the name again?
SM Athletics. Trust me, if you want to look like a real company, not a flea market stand, this is the move. If you're serious about your brand, work with people who are serious about getting it right. SM Athletics.
Merritt Garage Door and Services has been serving East Tennessee since 1963. At Merritt, quite simply, the customer comes first. Their door specialists will not try to needlessly upsell you because they are not commission-based like other places. This allows them to focus on your needs and not their pockets. They offer a range of beautiful garage doors in a variety of styles to suit the architecture of your home, and they will supply and install a wide range of garage door openers and accessories to take your door to the next level. To request a quote or schedule a service repair call, visit merrittgaragedoor.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Planning for spring at Lowe's means big savings on outdoor power equipment, and Lowe's knows nothing feels better than free. Buy one select Ego string trimmer, leaf blower, or mower kit. Get one select 56-volt battery free. That's up to a $299 value. Power through spring with Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 4/3 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Good afternoon. Building more volume out here. 40 East at the Holston River Bridge. All that traffic making its way out through East Knox County into Sevier County and Stop and Go Broadway right now through Fountain City. It's pretty busy over here on Western Avenue, right over 640 as it gets heavy. 40 East and West. Now over the top of West Hills. Fostering Hope TN has thousands of kids that they help out every year here in East Tennessee. Check out their website. This is a wonderful cause if you'd like to help. FosteringHopeTN.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's time for The Drive's Top 5 at 5.
Hour number 3 of The Drive starting off right now as we are in quitting time on your Thursday, June 19th. Getting ready for the Top 5 at 5. Walker, take it away, brother.
Thank you. At number 1, over the past 24 hours, 3 Vols pitchers have entered the transfer portal. Junior Andrew Binky, Austin Breedlove, and freshman Bayu Reverd have opted to enter the portal following the 25 season. Binky pitched in 43 games with a 3.52 ERA. Breedlove played in 25, started 2, and had a 3.42 ERA. And Reverd opted to redshirt this season and did not see the field. This brings the total players lost in the portal to 12 for Tony Vitello.
I like what you said earlier, Walker, about kind of how Tennessee baseball is starting to get the feels of some of those SEC football programs that have really established themselves at the elite level, and talent that has helped us out not only this season but even last year. But it feels like that has run its course a little bit. You start recruiting over some of these guys. You get some top-level MLB prospects in, whether it is from the transfer portal or from the high school ranks, and maybe some guys that had a role on the team at one point started to fade a little bit, and they feel like they've got enough talent to go be a starter or have a prominent role on another team. Deservedly so. Happy trails. Just not going to be here in Knoxville anymore.
Yeah, and that's the way Tony Vitello does it. He does it where he doesn't recruit based on need. He recruits based on who is the best, and he wants all of the best wearing orange and white. And that, some guys are just going to get beat out, and he's going to keep bringing in the best of the best, and they think their best move is to go to a place where they can play, which is perfectly fine by them. You know, it sucks to see a couple of guys who we relied on, like Breelove and Binky and Loy, leave, who pitched 25-plus games, some midweek starters here and there. But, you know, that's just the way the college sports are. People are going to leave because they want more playing time.
You feel good about, I would say, you know you're going to get 2 guys at least from the portal class onto campus. Brady Frederick out of ETSU, the submarine guy out of Bearden, and then Bo Rudy from Kennesaw State. I think you feel pretty good about getting both of those guys on campus. Clay Edmondson from UNC Asheville, and then Mason Estrada out of MIT. I do feel like those 2 guys are probably, if I had to say now, I would lean on them going to the draft instead of coming to Knoxville. But it's what we talked about, man. This is an opportunity here in Knoxville to be able to really capitalize on your draft stock. Maybe if you feel like I'm kind of getting respected in the draft pool, but maybe I can go in here to Tennessee for a year and turn myself into a top 1, top 2, 3 round type of guy and really make myself a whole lot more money.
Yeah, and that's just the way it is. And with the draft in the MLB and guys getting drafted so young and so many picks, we're not going to know if some of these transfers are even going to come in before they go to the draft, and that's just how it is.
Are we getting Tony on the draft again? Tony draft coverage like
know.
with MLB Network?
I'd hope so.
I feel like you sent something to me about that, Brett. Was that combine stuff, or was that?
I saw on something. I think they were at least interviewing the MLB Network talking about the upcoming draft, but I don't know if I officially saw where he's going to be on there or not. You would think a guy with the most players, whether high school or guys off his own team being in there, you'd think he'd be in there again, but I don't know for a fact if he's on there or not.
I think this might have just been draft combine.
Yeah.
So not going to be a guest analyst for the draft this year on MLB Network.
Probably not.
I guess they only wanted us for our national title, huh? Trying to use our king.
At number 2, Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders was cited by police earlier Tuesday morning for driving 101 miles per hour, according to police records. An officer for the Strongville, Ohio Police Department spotted Sanders at 12:24 a.m. for driving 41 miles over the posted 60-mile-per-hour speed limit in his black Dodge TRX truck. Sanders, 23, a projected first-round pick, was selected by the Browns after falling to the 5th round in this year's draft, must either pay a $250 fine for 4th-degree misdemeanor or fight the ticket in Strongville Mayor's Court on July 3rd. By the way, this is not the first time this has happened. I believe I saw a notification earlier in the show he's gotten 2 traffic tickets for going very fast.
In Cleveland.
In Cleveland.
So this is just one that has really kind of gotten the attention for being just crazy out of line.
Yeah, 101 and a 60 is
Do we know what his first one was? Was there any?
No, I wasn't able to look into it or when it was. But this is the second time it's happened. Going 100 miles per hour. Tough look. Cleveland looking like the Georgia of the NFL.
I was gonna say I saw some great tweets last night. Shedeur Sanders on a visit to Georgia, like in his Georgia jersey, and people were saying, "Oh, this makes a lot of sense now."
It all makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you got that. You got Browns fans that are saying, "Well, 101 miles an hour is better than 23 sexual assault cases," and it's like, well, if we're really
when
choosing
you put it that way,
yeah, if you put it that way, I guess. But if we're comparing felonies in the QB room, I feel like that's probably not a good. Probably not a good start.
No.
Yeah, he was previously cited on June 6th for speeding in Medina, Ohio. Details of the incident, including how fast he was going, are not clear from the police records.
Okay. I would guess it's probably not fast enough on that first one to
Probably
make
not.
news like this, but
Might have been like going 10 or 15
where there's
miles
smoke,
over.
there's fire.
40 miles is when you post.
Did you see the meme of the Wilt Chamberlain picture where
Yes.
he's like 101, but it's his face?
I did see that.
It's so funny.
I did see that. That was good.
That was
pretty
epic.
good.
That one
I
was
haven't
great.
seen that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
At number 3, former Rutgers star Ace Bailey has canceled a visit to the Philadelphia 76ers. The number 3 prospect on ESPN's Big Board was slated to fly to Philadelphia on Friday for a dinner with the team, its front office, and a private workout, but elected to cancel Wednesday, sources told ESPN. The 76ers owned the number 3 pick in Wednesday's draft at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Bailey's pre-draft strategy has perplexed NBA teams over the past month, as he's currently the only U.S.-based prospect yet to visit any clubs. He has declined invitations from multiple teams in his draft range, which is considered to be anywhere from number 3 to number 8.
I feel like Ace Bailey is approaching the NBA draft as if he's Cooper Flagg. Like, if you told me that Cooper Flagg has canceled a workout with every team other than the Mavericks at the number 1 overall pick or something like that, wouldn't even bat an eye, to be quite honest with you. But Ace Bailey, a guy who went to the Combine and was kind of lauded all season long, is like, oh, look at this 6'11" guy out of Rutgers who's almost the next Kevin Durant. Like, look at what he can do in terms of guard skill set and shooting the ball and his movement at that size. And then you get to the Combine, dude takes his shoes off and he's 6'7", Walker. Like, we got plenty of 6'7" scorers that can look like a Kevin Durant out there in the NBA. I feel like those guys are almost overpopulated in the league these days. Incredibly interesting approach to the draft. If I'm an NBA team, this is like sliding him down my board a little bit. I don't know how far, but like if I'm a 2nd or 3rd overall pick guy, I feel like I'm maybe letting him slide.
You know who it reminds you of? Shedeur Sanders. The way all that pre-draft stuff went down, where like he didn't only want to take a couple visits. People didn't like his visits. And with Bailey, it's just so weird. Like, Jeff Goodman on Twitter had a good tweet earlier a couple days ago. So his agent is Omar Cooper, who wanted to get paid to do on-camera interviews. He had represented some other guys in the draft who they didn't end up going very high. I think it was Sharif O'Neal or Sharif Cooper.
Sharif Cooper, his son.
Yeah, Sharif Cooper, his son, who he represented, and that didn't really go over very well. So it just seems like he might be getting some bad advice, and it might hurt his draft stock a little bit. But I'm high on this guy. Like, I think this guy can be awesome.
Yeah, you would have thought that maybe this guy would have kind of learned from his son, Sharif Cooper, because he takes the 1 year at Auburn, and you're thinking like, oh, well, this guy needs another year. He's got all the talent in the world, but I think he needs another year. He's a little bit undersized, a guy that needs to kind of prove it. And he thought, nope, I'm going to go to the draft. And looking at him now, Sharif Cooper was the 48th overall pick in the draft. Like, he's not playing anywhere near the NBA. He's playing for JDA Dijon. He's playing for Dijon Mustard over there in Dijon, France.
Sheesh.
He doesn't have anything to do with his pro career, and now I feel like a guy like Ace Bailey, who has so much more of a ceiling than he does, and he's kind of just hitching his wagon to this dude's dad, who has already made some questionable decisions as an agent.
At number 4, Game 6 of the NBA Finals is tonight in Indianapolis. The OKC Thunder, leading 3-2, will try to close out the series on the road against the Pacers. Indiana's star point guard Tyrese Halliburton is reportedly dealing with a calf strain that hobbled him in Game 5 in Oklahoma City. Tip-off is set for 8:30 p.m. with Oklahoma City having the chance to win the NBA title.
I'm not the biggest NBA guy in the world, Walker. I've been a little bit more into it because Bob is a big Pacers guy. I feel like the Pacers are out of steam at this point. I can't really I'd love to see a Game 7. I feel like you're getting into the territory of, like, even if you win a Game 6, it feels like the Pacers might just get run off the floor in Game 7.
How are Bob's spirits going into tonight?
I think he was nervous. I think he was nervous for sure. I don't know. I think he was kind of in the same boat. He asked at the end of the show, like, predictions for the game, and I said, cover your ears, Bob. I don't think the Pacers have it. And he's like, yeah, I kind of agree. So
yeah,
I don't think he's going in with all that much confidence.
When Bob Baskerville's given up,
I did see, though,
times are dire.
It's Bennedict Matherin's birthday. The last 3 players to have a birthday on the day of an NBA Finals game have all gone on to win the Finals.
Oh,
yeah. If you're into birthday stats,
true.
He's also worried about the whole Halliburton thing. I mean, he's probably going to play, but how effective can he be without your best player being effective? That could affect things. You can't expect another 20 points from
He's a star player. You're just trying to avoid playing 4-on-5 against a really good Thunder team.
Yeah.
At number 5, an 80-year-old man drove a compact luxury Mercedes-Benz A-Class sedan down the landmark Spanish Steps in Rome early on Tuesday before getting stuck partway down, municipal police said in a statement. The man tested negative for alcohol and was cited on the spot for driving down the monument in Rome's historic center. Police said the man, a resident of Rome, was at a loss to explain how he had wound up driving the famed steps. They did not release his name, and it was unclear if the car was his. The small sport car was later removed by firefighters using a crane.
This is an awesome story. I love this pull for you at number 5 here, Walker. I've been to these steps before.
Me too.
Driving a car down these
That's
would be
insane.
like the last thing I
That's
would expect
insane.
anybody to ever do.
Yeah, that's insane. I can't imagine doing that, let alone this guy 80 years old in a pretty nice Mercedes,
Yeah.
like A-class sedan, driving that thing down and having no idea how he wound up there.
And you said was not under the influence of anything?
No, tested negative for alcohol. Didn't say anything about drugs, but tested negative for alcohol.
I feel like that kind of lines up for Italy. Like, let's just make sure
It
this
might.
guy hasn't had 4 bottles
It
of
might.
wine before
Yeah,
he's
let's just
gotten
try-
here.
Make sure he hasn't had a bottle of red before driving down the Spanish Steps.
Yeah.
Beautiful place, by the way.
Beautiful place.
Beautiful.
Something crazy when I was there, Walker. My buddy and I, we went for a trip just like post-graduation and stuff like that, and we're walking down the steps. We're walking up to the steps, and we're thinking, I know this is a popular venue, but why are there masses of people here? We saw Tom Cruise.
No way.
The Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1
Wow.
was like debuting, and apparently they like filmed a lot of that in Rome and stuff like that. It was like the red carpet event. They had red carpet going
That's
down the
sick.
stairs.
That's awesome.
We're like looking out, and we're like, I think that's Tom Cruise going down those stairs right now. And he's even smaller in person than you'd even imagine. And I was pretty far away from the guy, and I'm like, that guy's like 5'5" at the most. He looks small. But we were rattled. We were kind of like talking to some people next to us in the group, and we're like, what's happening here? And they're like, oh, it's a Mission Impossible red carpet. And we think, whoa, we got Tom Cruise coming down here.
No, I mean, it makes sense. I don't remember them shooting a lot in Rome then, but I mean, when I went, it was a couple of weeks before the Olympics when I was over there for it.
Nice.
And there were people from all over. I mean, and that place is also a really popular spot for the classic, like, man on the street trying to sell you something by just handing it to you type of situation. And it's a really pretty spot, though. And close to it is the Trevi Fountain.
Yeah.
Which is even more beautiful if you're into traveling Rome.
You get the people that are like trying to put a bracelet around you, around your wrist. And they're
yeah,
like,
for me, it was
hey,
a rose. A guy just walked up and handed a rose to me.
Rose? There you go. Yeah.
That was a tough scene.
Got to hand it back to the guy. I don't want this. Sir.
Yeah, I don't want that.
They didn't use the steps in the actual movie, but they made a exact replica apparently on the back lot for safety reasons.
Mhm. You know what other famous steps that I've seen? Did you see John Wick 4?
Yeah.
You remember the steps fight scene outside of Sacre-Cœur in Paris?
Yeah. You've been
Those
to
steps those steps are just as like hard to climb as the movie made it look. Like, it's endless steps.
I like it.
Pretty sick.
I think we need more movies at historical landmarks.
We do. It's tough to film there, but if you get permission, film away at those places.
Figure it out. Figure it out. Jack Caglione has gone yard now twice in the same game.
Oh man.
Hits his first career homer and now wins 439 feet, 110 off the bat.
That's pretty good.
I saw his first one. It looked like it was in the eyeballs.
He does hit bombs.
He just hits
Those first two. Did you see him again the silent treatment?
Yeah.
After his first
That's a
one?
great tradition in sports, the silent treatment.
I love it.
Just
Yeah.
baseball, I guess, but
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. The one that comes to mind whenever I think of it is the Bartolo Colon home run, where they celebrate all the guys that just go into the dugout. Colon comes back, and it's just the dugout's completely empty.
That's what I was saying. That's what they should do. Just completely leave it.
Yeah.
Not even be standing there.
When pitchers used to hit, that's what they would do. They would just empty the dugout and go out.
Yeah.
do we do that in college?
No. College has kind of influenced the pros to be more excited for their home run celebrations. Like, with us and the fur coat a couple of years ago. Now MLB teams are doing a bunch of stuff. Like, the Reds, my team had a Viking helmet a lot of the time. A couple off the top of my head. I believe the Angels had a samurai hat they used when Shohei was there. The Mariners have a trident that they use. There's a bunch of.
Who's the one that's got like the 4-way, like they're drinking water out of something, but like they're acting like they're drinking beer or something? There's some team that
I'd have to
funnel?
look that up.
Yeah, it's like a funnel, but it's like a 4-way funnel basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
By the way, quick update. Simo has already played his game against the Yankees. Went 1 for 3 today.
Okay.
Batting ninth. So
All
he's
right.
starting
Just a single?
I believe it was just a single. I don't have total bases pulled up.
Still trying to figure it out, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's starting to, though. You know, he's gotten hits in a couple of games now after going 0 in his first couple. He's starting to figure it out.
It's the Orioles. They've got this like beer bong funnel that's like 4 ways.
That's right. The
Like
Orioles.
anyone that's on base, I think, drinks out of it, or if it's a solo shot, it's just one guy.
Well, they also
It's kinda
did.
creative.
They did the thing where I think it was last year or 2 years ago when they were good. They did it where guys would be on the dugout and a guy would hit a double and they pretend it was like sprinklers, and they would just spit water out onto the field all lined up.
I like that.
It's
I like
fun
that.
stuff.
I feel like maybe the one silent treatment first career homer that we've had in college was maybe Jay Abernathy's. Just you're already dead.
That was a silent treatment
Yeah,
for sure.
Your
He didn't
season's already dead.
At least from
Everybody
the
in
fans, we were like, "Oh, that's cool."
Everybody in the dugout's like, our
Season's over.
But,
Yeah.
hey, congrats, Jay. First career homer. Good job, buddy. All right, that's a good top 5 at 5, Walker. We'll take a quick break here. More of The Drive coming up next. You're listening to Fan Run Radio.
The Drive.
Miss any of your favorite Fan Run show? Listen to the podcast on our free Fan Run Radio app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey Knoxville, Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, 0 carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka. Sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka. Sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Where are the best ribs in the Volunteer State? Rickard Ridge. Who has the best barbecue catering packages in East Tennessee? Rickard Ridge. And where is the most beautiful setting to enjoy a meal with family and friends? Rickard Ridge. Rickard Ridge Barbecue. Just a quick ride up I-75, take exit 134, hang a right, and Rickard Ridge is on your left, just inside Cove Lake State Park.
Ready to launch your career? Axel Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axel proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axel, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axel Logistics is the place to start your career.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Whether it's expanding your business, upgrading your equipment, or covering payroll, you can score big with SwishFunding.com, the slam dunk solution for your business funding needs. If you have at least $25,000 in monthly revenue and been in business for at least 1 year, qualifying's easier than a layup. We fund up to $5 million in 24 hours. Go to SwishRadio.com. That's SWISH radio.com. SwishRadio.com.
Good afternoon. Still heavy 275 north here by Baxter Avenue, Woodland, as that traffic pushes on up into Anderson throughout Campbell County. Heavy right on schedule. I-40 east here at the Holston River Bridge. All that traffic out through East Knox County this afternoon. Radar out there earlier just past Strawberry Plains Pike. AMCO Transmission serving East Tennessee since 1962. Call AMCO Transmissions in Knoxville, 832-8686. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Drive coming back right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, in the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios here. Fun little thing that has come out on ESPN, and we've got 2 former Vols that have made the list as ESPN has come out with their NFL all-quarter century team. the best 53-man roster. Couple Vols finding themselves in the list. Guys, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to guess one of the guys.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning finding himself on that list.
Had to be on the list.
Shout out to the special teams guys, too, and shout out to my Tennessee Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan Cox, the lone long snapper. Just one guy. A lot of other multiples on this list. There's only one long snapper for the all-quarter century team, and that is Morgan Cox. Started his career with Baltimore, played 10 seasons for them, and has been with the Titans since 2021. But 2 Tennessee guys finding themselves on this list. We'll kind of run through this thing, see if we've got any there are any errors and omissions, maybe some adjustments, maybe differences in terms of starters. Do you feel like the first name listed here is just starter, and then we've got like QB2,
I think
QB3?
that's what it is, like a depth chart
I would
type
think
thing.
so.
Yeah. All right. So you guys want to just start from the top, offense, quarterback, and start
let's
off
just
with
go
our guy,
position.
Peyton?
Let's go position by position
All right.
group.
Quarterback starting things off. We know that, unfortunately, Peyton Manning probably not going to be that starting quarterback. Tom Brady, no surprise.
Yep.
89,214 passing yards since 2000.
That's crazy.
649 passing touchdowns, 7-time Super Bowl champion, 6-time All-Pro, 3-time MVP. Do we have any guys in the room that are this big of a Peyton Manning fan for him to take the top spot over Tom Brady?
No.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, yes, I would.
You would?
Yes.
You're taking Peyton Manning
I
over
have
Tom
to,
Brady?
Yeah, he's. I love Peyton.
Give me your rationale for that, Brett.
I mean, it's not. I mean,
nothing statistically on the field. It's just
I
your
feel like
allegiance to
Peyton was like some of these other guys we talked about a little bit, like a Steph Curry and stuff like that. I feel like the play action, like all that stuff, the wide receivers, just the way he controlled the line of scrimmage. I think he was the first to kind of do it, and it's kind of grown more and more as quarterbacks have come into the league. And I think that's because of Peyton. And you hear the defensive players say, Peyton's the hardest to play in for. Ray Lewis specifically.
I think that's fair. I think there's plenty of guys, too, out there that play the quarterback position that say, like, man, I want to model my game after Peyton Manning in terms of, like, his approach to the game and the preparation in which he had and, like, left no stone unturned.
Yeah.
Knew every single play, like the back of his hand, basically.
Yep.
I think that there is potentially
And he was going against Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
A lot of, but yeah.
Tom Brady at number 1, though. Peyton Manning, our guy, comes in here at number 2. Glad to see that he hasn't been surpassed by Patrick Mahomes yet. Not too much recency bias.
No.
Our guy Peyton, 64,066 career passing yards since 2000, 487 passing touchdowns, 2-time Super Bowl champ, 5-time MVP, 9-time All-Pro. I do think he's a guy that you're all kind of right, Brett. Like, he was going out there and was putting up some historic numbers, even late in his career with the Broncos.
Struggled in the
stuff
postseason,
like
though. He did have some postseason struggles.
A lot due in part to running into that guy, Tom Brady. And I think, maybe for the Brady haters out there, they might say, like, well, what was Tom Brady doing? There were a lot of good defense over there in New England. Yes, there was.
Brady saved his case a little bit by winning the one in Tampa because there were so many times like, oh, he had the greatest coach of all time, which he did. But you could say things about Belichick. The reason why he's the best coach all the time is because he had a Tom Brady as his coach. So
Peyton went and did it another place, too.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, good point.
He did. I feel like the real debate at QB is that last spot that they have on there. Because there are 3 guys right there for one spot. And it's an interesting argument depending on peak versus longevity between those guys.
Peak versus
Well,
longevity.
you can't go longevity yet with Mahomes.
That's
right?
what I mean.
Yeah, no, that's his point for sure. QB3 on this roster is Patrick Mahomes. So we're going with the young talent that has definitely gone out there and proven it. 32,352 passing yards. All of these going to be career numbers for Mahomes, as we know, since it's from 2000 on. 245 passing touchdowns, 3-time Super Bowl champ, 3-time All-Pro, 2-time MVP. I do think you're right, though, Walker. Like, are you taking the great start to the career for Patrick Mahomes, or are you going with the 2 options here on the practice squad? You've got Aaron Rodgers and you got Drew Brees, 2 guys that have had fantastic careers, 2 guys that have done it for as long as anybody. I think it is a fair comparison to say, like, hey, are you going with the guy that has had multiple years in terms of just production at the highest level, or are you going with the guy that is off to one of the best starts in terms of his career in the quarterback position?
I mean, I'd probably go Mahomes too. I mean, Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees, they have a bunch of records. Like, I believe, does Drew Brees still have the passing yards record, or did
I think
Tom
he does,
pass that?
and he might even have completion.
He might.
Percentage
Brees
record.
has a lot of the all-time records. Aaron Rodgers is one of the most talented quarterbacks to ever play. But in about 20 years for each career, they both only have one Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes has 3 and has been to 5 in half the time. And, and ring culture and all that, but
Mahomes is ahead
that's
of
tough to argue.
Brady's pace right now,
Yeah.
like he's got more rings than he did at this time, or the same amount or something. But yeah, I don't think there's an argument to be made for Brees or Rodgers over Mahomes.
Walker, you won't find a bigger Patrick Mahomes fan in the state of Tennessee than Brett Hollander.
Really?
I'd argue him over Brady in some cases, but I mean, to go to all the AFC championships and you've never not seen the AFC championship game. Now Brady's beating him though. That's obviously the difference though too. So we'll see.
Brees sits at number 2, by the way, in the
yards
category. Tom
Okay.
Brady's got him by 9,000 yards, actually. We'll head to the phone lines, 865-966-3435, your number to call or text us if you want to get in here in the last 30 minutes of the show. Got our guy Roberto waiting on the line. How we doing, Roberto?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I like the youthful enthusiasm on the show today, guys. It's kind of nice.
I know, we're doing our best.
It's a youthful Thursday here on The Drive.
It's a youthful
Well,
week.
there's no curmudgeon on the show to bring you down 10 notches either, so that's kind of nice. Also, hey, guys, if you happen to be heading on I-40 in either direction, add about 15 minutes to whatever you need. Heads up. There's a, eye in the sky or boots on the ground, however you want to say it. It's been pretty rough.
Commander
out
Roberto over
I'll
here,
say,
taking
you're
Commander
thank
Chuck's
you.
job.
Take Commander Chuck's job from him.
here. I'm in the thick of it, bro. I mean, he could throw me a bone. Like, I could use, whatever, a sponsorship freebie or something.
You could become like one of those Google Maps cars that has the camera on it at all times.
I drive enough that I probably should just attach one of those and sell all the rights to Amazon or Google or something like that. Yeah. So, guys, you're talking about I happen to be a huge Drew Brees fan. I'm a Saints fan.
Love Drew Brees.
Yeah. Class dude, incredible player. He played for some really cruddy teams.
There were some bad
ring
teams
culture.
in there.
I mean, there was some bad teams. He elevated the Saints a lot. As a Saints fan, watching him elevate the Saints, and I mean, he did beat Peyton Manning head-to-head in a Super Bowl.
He did.
Look at where the Saints have gone after Drew Brees. I think that's all you need to know.
Yeah, you could get that segment sponsored by Porta-John. They are they're bad. Another thing would be, I didn't realize this until you guys started checking it and talking about it. I didn't realize Peyton Manning actually has a winning record against Tom Brady in the playoffs. Do you guys know that?
Does he actually?
3-2.
Huh.
Yeah, he's 3-2 versus him in the playoffs. 11-7 or 11-6 overall.
Spark that debate, Roberto. Let's go.
I love it.
I mean, take it for what it's worth. I mean, I felt like Brady's teams were always better, but I don't know if that had anything to do with him versus Manning. And I respect Brady for everything he did. As I've aged, my orange-colored glasses on that subject have faded a little bit, but also Peyton had a 60% winning percentage against him in the playoffs with lesser thans, frankly. And I wonder if any quarterback had at least 5 starts against Brady in the playoffs with a better winning percentage, or maybe even 3 starts. Is there any quarterback that had 3 starts against Brady that had 2 wins?
I think
you know what I mean.
That's a fair counterpoint there, Roberto.
But that said, yeah, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is making his way. You could argue right now he is the greatest quarterback at this point in his career of all time. I can make that argument, and I see. I'm not going to side with Brett here, though. I can't possibly do that. So, but it is interesting to see his trajectory. He also has always seemed to have had the best talent around him of anybody in the AFC as well, Brett, to be fair. A lot of Brady in that. Best tight end, one of the best receivers always. Great defense.
Beaten by Joe Burrow.
Hall of Fame coach. Sorry?
Beaten by Joe Burrow, for the record.
Joe Burrow. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. Cincinnati's fun to watch. They're always fun to watch. He's gone from Macaulay Culkin to. Have you guys seen him this season?
Oh yeah, he's grown out his hair.
He's got some locks.
He's
on
got
him,
Jace
buddy.
Brown hair. is what he's got.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Was that picture real? I
It's
thought
real.
that was AI.
Yeah. No, it's real.
Yeah, it wasn't AI. It's real.
This is another reason why AI needs to die.
That's
I
true.
can't
We
stop.
come right back
Because
around.
we don't
You
even
can't
know
do it.
anymore.
I can't differentiate.
I know, Sam. You gotta
Oh, man.
every time you go on, you gotta assume AI. You can't assume it's not.
I might put that in my
Look
Twitter
at the
bio.
fingers, dude.
AI
Look at the
hater.
hands. It's always in the hands, guys.
Okay.
So, with that said, I appreciate letting me weigh in on that because I'm an old codger compared to you guys, and I still think that I've witnessed the 5 greatest quarterbacks in my lifetime. The 5 greatest quarterbacks to ever play have already played, which is pretty cool to know that I'm 44 and I've seen Montana, Marino, Manning, Brady, and you could argue Mahomes. I could throw Breeze in there. 5 is still up for grabs, but like those are the 4 best I've ever seen, and I think you could argue those are the 4 best to ever do it. So it's pretty cool to be an old man and have that in my cap now. And I'll leave you with this, guys. And Sammy, I didn't get to hear your response today because I know you were up against it. I mean, beyond a puncher's chance, I'd like to know what you guys think about Coastal's opportunity here this week because LSU looks very beatable to me, and I think Coastal has the arms on the front half. I'm not sure about the bullpen, but they definitely have the arms on the front half, and they will get on you. If you make a mistake, which LSU has been very prone to do in this College World Series and just college playoffs at large, they're going to punish you for that, and they're going to hang 10. So I was just wondering what your guys' opinion is on that. I'm sorry if I missed it earlier. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for the time.
Appreciate it, Roberto. Yeah, I mean, I think quickly just touching on that Coastal LSU before we get back to the NFL. I think an interesting one to me, and we talked about it today, Brett, with Under Review, like that game 1 is going to be just absolutely paramount. You're probably going to be getting Cade Anderson for LSU. I would imagine that Coastal is probably going to try and go ace on ace with Jacob Morrison. To me, I think a pivotal thing in this one, a lot of Coastal's top guys in that pitching staff are righties. And I think a lot of times maybe in SEC you see a little bit more of a mix of that righty-lefty stuff, and you're able to kind of counteract those matchups and stuff like that, whereas maybe Coastal, great team. We obviously know that they're as hot as anybody in the country, winning 26 straight leading into this, but maybe not facing those SEC opponents all year long and kind of being able to maybe get away with a lot of righty-heavy stuff in terms of your bullpen and your pitching staff. I do wonder if that starts to become a bit of a difference maker. Like that kid that came, I'm blanking on the kid's name that came in to pinch hit, but I know he's fantastic against righties. Yeah, Brown. So, like, for me, game 1, are you going to be able to kind of get the best of Cade Anderson, and how long can you kind of ride out a bunch of righties in your pitching staff? To me, those are kind of the keys of this series if I'm Coastal.
Yeah, I mean, I just take what I just saw from Cade Anderson against one of the hottest lineups coming in, and you absolutely shoved against Arkansas, and he shoved all season. I just wonder, the only thing that surprised to me is Morrison. He only has about 100 strikeouts on the season. For a guy that size, he doesn't seem to maybe have that, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, knockout stuff.
He's a little bit more of a contact pitcher.
Yeah, contact pitcher. So it scares you a little bit because LSU do have some bats that can hurt you. But I think that's the whole reason I'm picking LSU, because I do think they'll win game 1. And I think if they win game 1, I think they're going to go on and win the series. And, but that's just obviously my opinion, but, everybody has their own. So, but yeah, I think Cade Anderson, I think he's going to prove why he's the number 1 pick in the MLB draft.
Yeah, if you get to, if you can get yourself kind of in that advantageous position like an Arkansas did with Gage Wood throwing, a complete game, 19 strikeout no-hitter. Like whoever's bullpen is going to find themselves kind of in that best spot. I think that's who goes and takes it, because I think it's going to be a pitching-heavy final for you for sure.
I mean, you look at it, I feel like the matchup is going to be Coastal's, like you've been saying, Coastal's pitching, LSU's hitting. That's a matchup you're going to want to watch. LSU has a higher batting average. They have more hits. They've hit almost double the amount of home runs. I mean, Coastal's hit 66 home runs. LSU's hit 110. It's a key stat there for you guys. But also, Coastal, they have a lower ERA. They have a lower whip. They've walked over 100 less batters. But LSU has a couple hundred more Ks. So, the numbers say it's going to be, best on best pitching. Coastal's pitching against LSU's hitting. to wrap up that conversation, what do you think the line is for this series? If you had to guess it off the top of your head.
Unfortunately, I've already seen the line.
Oh,
so
you've seen it. Brad, have you seen it?
Yeah, I proposed the question. Yeah.
Minus 190 for
It
LSU,
may have changed
right?
since we talked about
changed.
it.
It's minus 166.
Minus 160. Okay, so
It's
you got
almost
some-
it's close to a pick.
So some of the money's coming in.
So Coastal's getting the respect.
Yeah,
a little bit.
No, I don't think anybody's necessarily.
They're not a fluke, yeah.
No, they're not sleeping on these guys, and it's a mistake for LSU if anybody on that roster is kind of sleeping on these guys because they've got all the confidence in the world right now, and I think just that it's going to be that's going to be motivation for them. I saw Kate Anderson say he doesn't know if Coastal's in South or North Carolina.
I don't know if you need to
and I'm
bring that stuff to the plate.
I don't know if you need to be saying that.
Shouldn't
Cade.
say that.
Your stuff's already good enough. Don't give them bulletin board material.
Yep.
But that's interesting, Walker, that number has kind of fallen back, and you're starting to see a little bit more money coming in on Coastal. I think there's plenty of people around, not just college baseball, but just bettors that have probably been starting to watch right at the College World Series. They probably see Coastal just mowing through competition and saying, why not these guys? Why not these guys?
Truly.
Why not go back to the All-Century team?
Yeah, we got a couple minutes for this next break. Let's run through these running backs.
Yeah, let's go through running backs, and then we'll hit a little break here. Number one on the list.
Priest Holmes.
9,256 all-purpose yards, 85 all-purpose touchdowns, won a Super Bowl, won an Offensive Player of the Year, 3-time All-Pro. Brett, I think you're going to need to help Walker and I a little bit on this one. Like we were.
I was very young.
We were wee lads watching Priest Holmes. I've seen some of his highlights, but I didn't live through the era.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like you're skeptical on putting him at number one.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, I was just surprised he was not on the list, to be honest. But
yeah,
I mean, I think he was the first guy the first little like McCaffrey type, the really the first guy. I mean, you can tell by 9,000 all-purpose yards what he was doing. I don't have a great memory of him, to be honest, but I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. But I don't think I was a big NFL guy back then. But
I think with this list, just real quick before we hit this, finish running backs. It's not about like the order of it. It's about who's on it. It's the three are Priest Holmes, Christian McCaffrey, and Derrick Henry. That's no LaDainian Tomlinson and no Adrian Peterson on that list. And, we've seen a lot from CMC. When CMC's been good, he's been incredible. But we're talking like Adrian Peterson is one of the best running backs we've seen.
I just don't think he did as long. He had some of the most productive seasons.
Yeah.
And he carried a team. I mean, literally.
Maybe one of the best comebacks from injury ever, though.
Yeah, I did it in 6 months or whatever it was.
Yeah. And ran for he ran for like almost 2,000.
Yeah,
after
I mean,
that.
I think he did hit 2,000 yards for sure.
He did. He has the most rushing yards ever in a game. Has 2,000. It's nuts.
Maybe I'm biased here with my Titans bias, but like to me, Derrick Henry would be the starter on this team. I don't know if there's any more of a running back that's just dominated the position like he has. And
True.
You talk about not a lot around you. Like for a lot of the years there, before you really got A.J. Brown into the fold, it felt like Derrick Henry was just that only guy that defenses were keying in on for the Titans, and it just didn't really matter at some points. He was just mowing through guys.
Yeah, the year after his injury, he ran for 2,097 yards.
Okay, that's what I thought he had hit that 2,000-yard mark, but I wasn't sure after.
Yeah, almost 15,000, 120 touchdowns for
I don't
Adrian
know.
Peterson.
When you do something that has been done less times than people that have walked on the moon, I feel like you should be on this list. Just how I feel. Disregarding the other stuff.
Like they did with
the
wide
outside
receivers, I
the-
feel like you could put 5 or 6 running backs on.
Yeah,
there.
there's a
you
lot.
You can't
of,
limit it
there's
to
a lot
3,
of
but
spots. There's a lot.
That's
of
crazy.
spots.
We'll hit a break here. Shout out Kyle Juszczyk. He's the fullback. We won't give himself too much shine.
Yeah.
But we'll hit a break here. We'll wrap this thing up on the other side. Stick with us. It's The Drive here on Fan Run Radio.
Run Radio? Download the free Fan Run app and take the best Tennessee sports conversations with you wherever you go.
Citizens National Bank. You want a bank that lets you bank when and where you want to. Your local branch, the grocery store, your computer, your phone, it's up to you. You want people who care about taking care of you and your money too. Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips that you plan in advance, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends for which you make a group chat 3 months before so that nobody or anything is missing? Or your daughter's first birthday party. You planned it with such dedication that instead of the first, it felt like our quinces. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Do you love to gamble? Do you enjoy listening to people talk about gambling? Well, then I have some good news for you. Every weeknight at 6 p.m., you can hear John Reed and William Pattison go over the slate, thanks to our friends at VIP Play. Sports topics aren't always black and white, but on the slate, they are always green. Nothing but trends, angles, and bets to try to make you some money. The Slate, presented by VIP Sports on Fan Run Radio, weeknights from 6 to 7 p.m.
Good afternoon. It's still heavy out here in West Knoxville. 40 east and west coming past Paper Mill, Alcoa Highway. Really busy now southbound back into Blount County as you work your way Chapman Highway back out into Seymour. Stop and go down Broadway through the Fountain City area. Hey, Fountain City Jewelers Wedding Band Weekend. It's coming up June 25th through the 28th. Go by and see them in person at Fountain City Jewelers right there next to Litton's. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Wrapping things up here on a Thursday afternoon here on The Drive. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, live here in the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios, discussing the NFL All-Century team, All-Quarter Century team before the break. An All-Century team would have taken ages.
It's pretty close to all-century team.
It's
you can't get many better players than this.
This is an elite crop of guys in here. We'll run through this a little bit quicker as we're entering the last couple minutes of the show here. 6 guys make it in the wide receiver room: Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson, Megatron, Julio Jones, T.O., Marvin Harrison, Justin Jefferson making himself on that list. The 2 practice squad guys would be Antonio Brown and Andre Johnson.
Okay. Andre Johnson was so good.
Andre Johnson was incredible.
He was so good. He probably should be on this
so
list.
Consistent, too. That was just a guy that you felt like every single time when he was in the game was just going to be able to go out there and give you something.
Yeah. And also, I feel like maybe if Antonio Brown hasn't been clinically insane for 5 years, he'd probably be on this list because he was awesome as a football player.
I was just about to say that. I think his off the field shenanigans have listed him
blacklisted him.
Much. The coaching staff has said, "Hey, you got all the talent on the field, but we got other guys with talent. We need guys with their heads screwed on straight." Antonio Brown doesn't necessarily find himself in that competition.
This list is incredible.
It's ridiculous. Is Justin Jefferson like a little too early to call, we think, or do you think it's just like
probably
the track
a
that
little
he's
too
on?
Early. Honestly, a little too early.
Like I think I might take, if we're talking for a quarter century,
I'd put Andre Johnson on there over him.
You pushing back on that, Brett?
I don't know. I mean, Andre Johnson was really good. And it seemed like they were always struggling down there where he was playing, Houston.
Yeah, you talk about like the quarterbacks that
Because I always think
getting the
about
ball
him,
thrown
and then
to.
it went to DeAndre Hopkins. And,
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I think you're probably right with Andre Johnson. Maybe just a year or two too early for Justin.
The interim crew on the drive is saying, nope, we'll take Andre Johnson right now.
Yep.
On to tight ends. This one,
Arguably the best, the 3 best ever.
This
on
one
list.
to me is pretty easy.
Cut and dry.
I really like the guy on the practice squad here, but your starters, Rob Gronkowski, all-time great, Travis Kelce, and Tony Gonzalez. Like Walker said, those are 3 of the top tight ends in football history. Practice squad, Antonio Gates. Me as a little kid on Madden, the Chargers were my team of choice. You got Phillip Rivers, you got LT.
Fun team.
You got Antonio Gates. Vincent Jackson. God, that was a stacked group to try and beat my brother on Madden.
It was good. And we had this problem with the position group later in this list, but shout out Vols, Jason Witten.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't for the fact that the tight end position has been revolutionized in the past 25 years, and the 3 best ever have played in the past 25 years, Jason Witten has a good case to be on this list. But there's just been
Jimmy Graham
too.
I feel like maybe Pittsburgh always had a good one with Big Ben. There was always one tight end with Big Ben.
Heath Miller,
maybe. Yeah, but maybe he's not an all-time great. He's just a solid pro. But Jimmy Graham, I feel like, was huge for the Saints. And it's just crazy. All these guys were basketball. Like Tony Gonzalez, basketball. Antonio Gates, basketball. Jimmy Graham, basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeremy Shockey had moments, but yeah, I don't think you can pass up those.
Shannon
3.
Sharp would probably
Shannon
find
Sharp,
himself on this list, but it just wasn't really the
he
time
just got
period
fired
that
by
you're looking for.
ESPN.
Yeah.
He's not going to get on this list.
Not the time period we're looking for.
Yeah, that was a good one. Shannon Sharp. Forgot about him.
Like Walker mentioned there, Witten, a guy in terms of Tennessee that you feel like could have gotten in there. Before we really get out of here, we'll try and get as many in as we can.
Yeah.
But special teams didn't get the kick returning spot. Devin Hester gets it. Cordero Patterson, not William Patterson.
Yeah.
He's coming up next after this. Stay tuned to the slate. But no, Cordero Patterson finds himself as the practice squad return specialist. I feel like if Devin Hester just didn't return the opening kickoff in the Super Bowl, Cordero Patterson actually might get this one. Yeah, it's just such an iconic moment in like football highlights that he always gets it in here. But I feel like when you're talking about it in terms of like longevity and
20 return touchdowns though, that's crazy.
How many did Patterson
I don't know.
have?
It doesn't have his stats. I'm just reading what it says on there. 20 return touchdowns, 11,000 total return yards. And that's probably not – I wonder if that includes punt returns, I guess.
I would assume because Patterson has only had 9 kickoff return touchdowns in his NFL career. I would have liked to see a couple more Vols on this list, but as we were kind of discussing in the break, there hasn't been all that many star talent players that are going to find themselves on this list.
The only other one that we mentioned and talked about would be Eric Berry, but you made the good point in the break where this is arguably the best 25 years of safeties we've ever seen, similar to the tight ends and Jason Witten. I mean, you go down the guys on this list. Ed Reed, you're not taking him off. Troy Polamalu, you're not taking him off. Brian Dawkins, not taking him off.
Hall of Famer.
And Earl Thomas III, who was awesome and frankly probably isn't as appreciated as he should be. Earl Thomas III was awesome.
Leader of the legend.
Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom.
Elite era of football there. And yeah, the practice squad player for the safeties is
Charles Woodson.
That's
it's pretty good.
He's probably that for corner too because he's a great corner.
Charles Woodson continuing to be
even though we hate
in
him around
side,
here. Yes.
Also
finds himself as the
and
practice
his
squad.
Son's trying to show up on campus. Can't even believe it.
Speaking of the Legion of Boom, another guy that's not on this list that arguably you could. Cam Chancellor was awesome. But yeah, I mean, we love Eric Berry.
Got a linebacker from that team on
Bobby
Wagner. Yeah.
Yeah, we love Eric Berry, but this is that's a tough list to crack.
Could you imagine if AJ and Big Justice and the Rizzler could give 5 big booms to the Legion of Boom back in the day? They were in the wrong era.
Yeah, they're too late.
They were in the wrong era.
You think they would have been Seattle fans?
I think they're like New York guys.
Yeah, they're
right?
New York. Yeah,
that's true.
Wrapping up the show here as we got some more news coming out from Faison Brandon in the Elite 11 as he has finished the 7v7 portion of the finals, completing 19 of 22 throws with 3 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Wow.
The guy's going to be awesome, man. I'm really – he doesn't get as much – he's not getting as much hype as he should be for being the best quarterback in his class. Be committed so early. I think this guy's got everything we're looking for in a year from now. This year is going to be what it is. I think we still should be 8-4, 7-5, maybe 9-3. But with this kid in this class, they could do something special.
Felt like you were willing Nico Iamaleava into that star role, just being like, yeah, we gave you $8 million. Go be the guy. Whereas Faison Brandon, it feels like, to your point, Walker, kind of just going under the radar, just being like, yeah, I love ball. No matter what I'm going to do, my focus is going to be playing football, being the best possible version of myself. I'm not going to go out there and bag chase and find as much money as I can at the start of my career. I feel like he's a guy that goes out there and kind of wants to earn the respect of his teammates, and to be able to kind of be, I don't know, I think maturity in terms of some of these guys is a thing that is starting to become really valued with some of these prospects now in this NIL era, and how much money these guys are making, where it feels like Brandon's in it for the right moves and in it for the right decisions. And you got to hope that will continue throughout his high school career and once he gets on here to Rocky Top.
Yeah, and you got to remember, he's probably getting a little bit of money paid to him already to help with this recruiting stuff. That's how NIL works. But with Nico, we signed him and we kind of barely heard from him for the year until leading up to it, and we kind of barely heard from him when he was here. He was he was a silent leader, didn't talk a lot outside of it, but his teammates respected him before everything that went down. But he wasn't the vocal guy, whereas Brandon feels like he's going to be the vocal guy. Whether or not he's being paid for these visits or whatnot, he's here trying to get guys to come to UT. He's representing the program already before he even puts on the stripes. And I think you just love to see that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely love to see it. Some great news coming out from the...
Ross Kivett also did his usual emojis.
Just now?
But I haven't seen a player pop up just yet. But
I like it.
But he's got the orange with the... sunglasses emoji.
That's his version of Josh Heupel.
Yes. So something's brewing.
Well, last time that happened, we got the announcement of Garrett Wright the next
Garrett
day.
Wright, yeah.
So you got to hope that maybe you've got a commitment in the boat now, and I'm sure that'll come out.
Henry Ford?
That would fix our hole
I'm trying to think
in our
who else
lineup.
would be
Some pitcher. There were some other pitchers that had taken visits here. There was the pitcher
Landon
from
Mack.
Maybe is that the pitcher from Rutgers? Yeah, the Rutgers
what
kid
about
would be really good.
The infielder from Cal?
Yeah.
He had a weird name.
Yeah, I can't pronounce his name or have it off the top of my head, but he's another guy that would help us out because
Robbins went to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We were in on him.
Yeah, we lost out on him yesterday, but he's a guy. We need guys. We have holes in the infield, and it would be great if we got a pitcher because we've lost a lot of pitchers this week.
You need guys. I'm hoping it's Landon Mack, if I'm being completely honest. I think we're still kind of in need of getting that big top-line starting pitching guy in there.
Mm-hmm.
But Tony Vitello working. We're done working for the day. Appreciate y'all's help. Walker, thank you very much, sir. Brett, appreciate you as always. That will do it for a Thursday edition of The Drive. The slate coming up right next, right after this, with William Pattison and Max Pennell now. New blood in the slate lineup. Appreciate y'all tuning in to The Drive.
The Drive.
When it's past high noon, it's time for a vodka soda made with a vodka you actually heard of. I'm talking White Claw vodka soda made with White Claw premium vodka. JB Smooth only drinks vodka soda made with the world's smoothest vodka.
And you can too. Pick you up a bottle of the Triple Wave filtered vodka that's been distilled 5 times. White Claw Premium Vodka comes in 4 flavors: black cherry, mango, pineapple, and just vodka. You haven't had vodka like this. No one has. White Claw Premium Vodka. Please drink responsibly.